君の怪獣たちが今暴れ出す。宇宙の大バトル、勝負を決めるのは君だ。ウルトラ怪獣シリーズサーガに変身。
Now, Godzilla!
Godzilla! You can pretend Godzilla turns a mighty castle into a pile of sand.
Go do it, Godzilla!
You control Godzilla's ugly tongue. You can make him stomp, pound his tail, pretending he strikes it all in his way. You can launch Godzilla's claw for the final blow.
We did it!
What will Godzilla do next? It's up to you. Godzilla with a claw that launches, some assembly required, from the Shogun Warrior Collection by Mattel.
Hello and welcome to a special presentation of Collect All Monsters, where it's just time to catch up. We clearly don't have enough time in front of the camera and in front of the stream, so we just had to do it. We had to talk about some stuff. A lot of things happening in this, so just real quickly before we really kick things off, I wanted to tell everybody, all 10 people watching so far, that we have a special guest, actually guests, plural, joining us. Originally it was going to be Peter Santamaria, but Peter is here with Hector and Hillary, who are working on his Mecha Godzilla figure. More on that later. We also have plans to chat about Godzilla Minus One. Since last we met, because we had our best of episode, the sort of full trailer dropped. Lots of feelings are bound to be coming out of our mouths for that. And then in addition to that, I'd be remiss as the curator of the old Shrine of Gamera if I didn't bring up Gamera Rebirth, the new Netflix anime series that dropped earlier this month. I think literally September 6th or 7th or something like that. So we're going to talk about that stuff, plus maybe some other conversational topics that are going to get thrown in there as well. But for right now, I'm going to kick things over to my man, Mr. Leslie Chambers, because he's going to tell us what he got, I think, in a segment we actually call Show It and Tell. I think.
Well, actually, you know, I do have one thing to show off. First off, thank you folks for being here. Did you think that we were not going to show our faces this month of September? You know, I know we said we were going to take a month off, and we kind of did, you know, but, you know, we had that best of episode last, which was great. Funny, as a matter of fact.
Fantastic episode.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
Well, almost every minute of it.
It daggone sure made me laugh. But again, did you think that we were not going to at least show our faces, our beautiful faces? Well, three out of four ain't bad, quite frankly. But still, thank you so much for being here. We got a lot to get into this evening. And honestly, I'm just going to showcase one thing that honestly, I got this at G-Fest, but unless you were at G-Fest, you didn't really see it. And I didn't really showcase it the last episode because I didn't have it at the time, but I have now gotten it. And for all of y'all who did not make it to G-Fest, that sucks for you because that was a wonderful time, to be honest with you. But if you didn't make the G-Fest, you didn't see my best and biggest literally acquisition that I was able to get for myself, courtesy of the awesome Marcellus Winters, the first ever gigantic size statue of everybody's favorite super dinosaur from 1975's terror of Mecha Godzilla, the one and the only Titanosaurus. Look at this. Whoa! Look at this. Look at this. Jesus Christ. Look at this. Look at this. Look at it.
He's a beauty.
It's amazing. It's a beauty.
Where'd it come from?
It was 3D printed. It was 3D printed.
Internet.
Yes, it was 3D printed. Yes, and that's the thing. When Marcellus and I had this conversation about this, he was like, you know what? If you were able to make any type of gigantic size statue of a monster, who would it be? And I wanted to avoid the customary answers that you would get to an answer to a question like that. 64 Godzilla, no, not really. You know, Shocker, whatever. The 84 Godzilla, no, not really. You know, whatever. I was like, how about Titanosaurus?
Wow.
And Marcellus was like, that's a good answer. He was like, you know what? I know somebody. Let me work it out, and then we'll go from there. So starting like in May, he started sending me pictures of the sculpt he was working on. He was going to give to the 3D printer guy. And at the time, I wasn't really sold on 3D printed statues. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some awesome 3D printed statues out there. But I was like, if I'm going to invest the type of money that I know would go into a project like this, I need to be wowed. And the
It's gotta
sculpt.
match your collection, too.
Yeah.
Yes.
It goes with everything.
Yes.
That's
And yes. And it wowed me. The sculpt wowed me. And Marcellus, you know, he has really come into his own as one of the greatest artists in our community, outside of David Air.co, of course. But Marcellus, between him, actually his wife worked on this, and his sound girl at his church worked on this. Look at this. Look at the detail on this thing.
That's amazing.
And like I said, it's gigantic size. He is 25 inches tall. 25 inches tall. And he's only making like a handful of these because it takes a lot to put this thing together. So he's only doing a handful of these, not too many, but then he plans on going back to this sculpt again when the film probably turns 50 in a couple of years. But look at the detail, like the skin, the fin, the toes, the claws, even the tail. You know, just yeah.
How heavy?
Yeah, is it heavy or light?
Yeah, it's heavy.
Did you hold that at G-Fest, David?
I did see it, but I don't remember. Like I guess I did. You had it. You had it at the panel,
handed
right?
it to me, and I was like, whoa.
I didn't touch it though. I didn't touch it.
Yeah, it weighs like maybe 25, 30 pounds, legit. Like, seriously, I'm running around G-Fest with this thing, and like every other person is like, oh, wow, Titanosaurus. Oh, wow, Titanosaurus. Even Diane for Claw Mart Toys, even she was like, damn. She was like, can I touch it? I was like, hey, go for it. And when she held it, I'm like, you know what? I think I've made it as a collector. That was like one of my last accomplishments. If I can get Diane from Claw Mart Toys to make this face involving a collectible, then I have made it in terms of being a collector. But yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So again, the biggest Titanosaurus collectible out there of himself. So Nick Size, I know you're out there. Eric Stope, I know you're out there. Eric Grondin, I know you're out there. They say size doesn't matter, but they lied to you. They really did. So, but this is so great. But that's it. What I want to showcase in my show and tell. Again, thank you so much for being here on this supplemental episode of Collect All Monsters. Now I'm gonna kick it over to my main man, who is still visiting on our side of the country, that's going through a hurricane like me and John are right now. The one and only David Air.co. What's going on, David?
Hey, Leslie. Hey, everybody. Hey, John. Hey, Kyle. Let me just say, if someone asked me what gigantic 3D printed kaiju I would want, I can't even think of anything. Like, what would I choose? Like, aside from the obvious, like Leslie said, I don't even know. I'll have to get back to you.
Damagen?
Tough one.
Damagen?
Oh, that was
Damagen?
You know what? There it is. That's it.
That's
You know me way too well. That's exactly what I would choose. That's a great choice. And Marcellus, if you're listening, maybe someday when I'm off of this hiatus. But let me just start by saying, yes, I am coming from my mom's house in South Jersey during Hurricane Ophelia. We're getting the remnants of that. It's kind of crazy. I'm still not used to doing the 6 o'clock thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like usually 3 o'clock, and I'm, how many years have we been doing it at 3 o'clock? But anyway, thank you everyone who watched our supplemental show.
I think we still do it at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, 3 o'clock. That's going to change for you too, very soon.
Yeah, no
Oh, I know.
Talk about that later. But anyway, thanks to everybody for watching our supplemental show. Boy, was that a lot of fun. Kyle and Jonathan did an amazing job putting those clips together. it just solidified the fact that I'm so honored to be a part of this and hang out with you guys once a month. It's just amazing. And it really, I was in a bad mood on that Saturday. Like there's stuff going on here. And I watched that episode and it immediately put me in a great mood. And it just makes me, it helps me realize why I love doing what I do and being on the show. So thanks to all of you. Thanks to everybody who watched it. It was great. We should do another one of those too, because it was just so funny. And those clips are great. Anyway, so show and tell. So you guys know that I've sort of been on a hiatus because I can't really take anything. I can't ship anything to the new place yet because we didn't actually technically don't own it yet. Can't ship anything to the old place because we just sold it, so we don't have that anymore. And if I get anything shipped to my mom's, it's got to come quick because we only got a couple weeks left here. So having said all of that, a couple things that I just couldn't pass up. And one of them, I was, every once in a while when I have insomnia, I go on to Mandarake. That's a great thing to do, or
Classic.
Dangerous.
But I did see this little guy, and I wanted another travel buddy, and I chose this little guy.
Oh, neat.
This little Max toy Gamera. And I just think that this particular sculpt is so, it's in that line between being really sort of stylized yet very realistic too. I mean, that looks like Gamera.
Yeah.
And I love the paint job and the nuances, and he was actually extremely reasonable. That's what happens when you hit Mandarake at the right time. It was a very strange hour. But I did get him, and he's gone already. He's been on some adventures with me. He's been to the boardwalk, the seaside boardwalk. He's been to the ocean. He's been on a couple places, and he's going to drive cross country with his other pal.
Oh yeah. Awesome.
So they're gonna be travel buddies, and both my travel buddies. So, and then there's something that I saw that I ordered that I forgot that I ordered, and I was like, oh my God, I have to switch the address because it's going to come to the other place.
Wow.
But anyway, I got it together, and it's something that I absolutely love, and I had no idea I would love it as much as I do. It is the 1954
Oh,
Shodai Godzilla.
that's real.
I mean, this
like
thing, yeah, it's outstanding. And I mean, it does come. This is not the Rick version. The Rick version, I found out, has the light up dorsal plates, and I have enough light.
Really?
I don't need any more light up gimmicks for the rest of my life. I'm good with that. But this one, I didn't even realize that it came with the option to not have the train. So
okay.
hands, and you can put the train in the mouth. But I kind of like the mug without the train in there,
Yeah.
And he's just fantastic. Like, it is one of the coolest collectibles I've gotten in a long time. So
I hope there's still some more out there because I want one now.
I think there was one still on Hobby Search, John, if you want to check that out too, because that's where I got mine from. But he's so great. The eyes, I don't know if you can see the eyes, the detail on the eyes,
Telling me on it.
and the gloss on the
Yeah,
teeth.
awesome. Yes.
I mean, it's John, you got to get one. And,
I know.
and
I was just
if you hold it from the side, it looks just like the maquette almost.
Exactly.
And this begs the question, why the hell aren't they doing a gigantic maquette? Because look, they can do it. Look at that.
Exactly.
There it is.
I mean, it's
There it
fabulous.
is.
And do more. I mean, they could do some busts. They could do just heads.
They can bust some heads. They can do this. Yeah, it's just amazing. And like when I open this box, and I'm going to put him back carefully in the boxes, he has to go back in the car with us. So just incredible. I'm so stoked to have him. And this is the last thing that I'm going to get on my travels. There's nothing else that I'm going to be getting unless I pick something up at Toy Tokyo, which I might get something really small if there's something there, but more about that later. Let's see. Kyle, if you want to show the people, I sent you those images of an Akama Tenchi figure that I was lucky enough to get a hold of, a pre-order. And this is another thing that's coming, but this won't come till I get back to California. So if you want to show that off, I'm really stoked about this one too.
Yeah.
And
I'm just going to open this up here.
Yeah, just open that up. It's one of those things where, again, it's like I was holding out for a color spray of this particular design that I really wanted to excuse me, and this particular one absolutely blew me away.
Ooh.
So what do you guys think?
Twitter.
Is that like the coolest design, and the way the red eyes sort of, enhance the red and the orange of that figure, and then this is of course a glow in the dark version of the Akima Tenshi. I don't know I have to find out the actual.
Oh, it's a glowy.
Yeah, he's a glowy, and I cannot wait to get him. So, I had to have him spend. What's that?
You were saying to figure out the
actual name. I mean, they all have names. Like each variant, he names them all.
Cool.
So I don't know, I don't remember the actual name, but I'm having him.
I love this sculpt. This is this is the only sculpt that is like they've done of the Burning Godzilla that's sort of like evocative of the Marmot Desugoji.
100%
actually wins for me. I've seen so many that are like not quite there, and even the new one by Yamada is not as good as the old Desugoji. So yeah, this is anyway. Akame Tenshi's work is crazy, and this is actually one of my favorite sculpts from him. I don't own anything from this, but it's gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah, and I didn't either. This was my first one of his Desugojis, and again, I'll find out the name and I'll post it in the group when he comes. And he's going to James Hartman's house just to be on the safe side. So
nice.
And the funny thing is, James is getting one too, so he's gonna have two in his house.
Wow,
nice.
But
that's awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know if we're going to talk about what we've been getting into now, but I guess we'll do that a little bit later. So without further ado, let's pass it down to my buddy who's really close to me. He's only an hour away. So close. Yes. Now he's up there.
Figure out how to connect.
In Philadelphia. Now he's over there. You're driving me crazy. Okay. John's over there, and he's in Philly, and he's going to tell us what he's got. And I hope you have a minute and pull up a chair and get yourself comfortable.
Oh, it's good to be back with you all. It was we had some couple rough weeks there. Family, my mom lost her last sister, but we made it through. She's doing all right, so it's good to be back. And I'm glad we did have the break, and it's nice to just be back, together. But Christine's not with us, but we're thinking about her in her absence.
Whatever.
Well, I'm kind of on a hiatus. Yeah.
What, John? You're on a hiatus?
I have a good reason for it, but
I like John's reasons.
But when I go out, man, and my good buddy Eric that I grew up with, we went out last weekend. We always try to go out. It seems like we go out maybe once a month. We hit up New York, hit Mitsuwa, and we didn't get to get in New York, but we went to House of Fun and complete this. No, we didn't get over there, but they had a outdoor toy festival that we missed last weekend. Darn it, right, not far from House of Fun in Jersey. But it'll be great, David, somehow to connect.
I hope so, John. I really hope so.
I'll meet you there. It'll be awesome.
Yes, please.
So I did get the nice thing is I love this time of year because there's still pre-orders coming through. There's been some really great pre-orders lately. One is this awesome replica, I don't know, it's 8-inch of the Godzilla Shogun Godzilla. I mean, this is just
that's a great scale.
Oh, it's weighty. Now the only thing that they left out were the wheels.
Oh
yeah.
But it's perfect. I mean, it's absolutely perfect. The hand fires and the box is fantastic. It's so awesome. I had to get two, just one.
Oh, I need to get one. Did they also do a glowy one, John, too, in that
they
scale?
Did do a glowy, but I'm not into the glowies. I have the small glowy, but not they did. It was $50. Well worth it. It feels die cast. It's and it's weighty like.
Oh, I gotta get that.
It has the sand in it.
Damn it.
Yes, just for the desk. Now I have it next to a figure that I've been trying to get for a long time, and I found it on Buyee. And I got it for under $160, and it's the Rick version. It was mint in the perfect in the box. It was 25 centimeter light up, 75 Mecha Godzilla. I mean,
okay.
I thought it was a steal. And
it was. It really was.
I think so. But
in this day and age, that's a steal.
Better Mecha Godzilla coming. So.
Oh.
And got a couple of these. This 74 is so sweet. Super 7 did a nice job. Oh, that's Megalon. 74 74. It's nice to have a 74. And yesterday, by surprise, the Godzilla Ways Again novelized, translation came out.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Very beautiful. This cover is fantastic.
The cover's worth it. I mean, I'm going to judge a book by its cover. That's a great cover.
While it was out, there were a couple things that I had to get because I said I didn't buy them, but if I saw them, I would just no-brainer. One was the Hanna-Barbera, Godzilla.
Oh, nice.
So I just snatched that off the shelf. I was surprised to have found it. My friend Eric said, "Oh, I saw it," so we just went and got it. And this other I got from the House of Fun, but I haven't taken it out.
Baieta's my ass.
I'm on it now.
You're on it now. Okay. Okay.
Starting this minute. Starting right now. I'm on it.
Right. As soon as this.
You got hips.
Yeah, I haven't taken them out yet.
You got hips and thighs. That's who he is. Hips and thighs. Yep. I'm sorry. That figure has the body of a stripper. I don't care what anybody says. It has the body of an Atlanta stripper with the thick thighs and the booty and no neck. Is like it has a body of a Magic City stripper.
That's why I didn't take it out, because I'm like, I don't want to have anywhere for this. And as much as I do want to take it out of the box, I might have to stay in the box. But I do have one last box. And it finally Stop. This one's really special.
Oh, there it is. That's your artwork. There it is.
Yes,
very special.
Kai signed it to me.
Oh,
So it's like, yes.
Talk about full circle. That's full circle right there.
Yes.
And that's a gorgeous photograph. And I see you, John. I see your work all over the internet, like legit and not legit. So people are loving it. Even they're asking they're asking you if they could use it, or they're just using it. So
it's getting used. It's not only getting the ass, but they bless you. That's all I have. Unless you want me to pull out some more, I'll keep it on the side. But I'm on a hiatus, and I'll share why.
Yeah. Practice the hiatus starting now, John. It's easy. It's easy once you get into it. Once you start once you stop going on Mandarake by default all the time. Whew, tell you what.
Oh, I get that down.
Hiatus gets easier.
No, it doesn't, Kyle.
Hiatus,
It's hard.
No, hang on. Let me finish the bit. Speaking of hiatus,
Kyle.
Okay, little story time, super fast. So, David.
This is a good story. This is a good story.
Yeah, this is a great story. David Dobko knew that I had been looking for this, and I actually was looking for this before the move to Japan stuff came into my periphery. It's like I was like, hey, yeah, I think the next thing I'm going to do is find one of those Marmot Megatons. And then my boss at the time was like, hey, you can move to Japan. And that just threw all of my collecting plans out the window. So David was selling stuff from his collection, gave me a sweetheart of a deal on this. And it is the most beautiful of the Megatons, in my opinion.
Awesome.
I'm so glad you got him finally.
But the story aspect of this is that since David was coming from Seattle and driving down to Palm Springs, we didn't get a chance to hook up and have him give me this. So, and I didn't want him to have to ship this beast. So he handed it to our friend Nick, not Nick Sides, Nick Gucker. And Nick and his wife have a house in Portland. And so last week he came to the GodzillaThon and handed me this figure. And he actually came on Sunday, before the first movie. So he gave it to me in between the screenings. So when people came in for Hedera, they were looking at it on the table. They were like, is that the raffle prize? And I was like, no, the raffle prize is an enamel pin. but good luck. Anyway, so I am so happy to have that in my collection. Thank you, David.
Yeah,
you're welcome. And there's more to that story, Kyle. There's actually quite a bit more to that story. So let's backtrack to when Kyle and I were in Japan. And Keith, we were in 2015. We were in not Monster. What the heck's that place called?
Labo.
Monster Labo. Yes, that one that's downstairs. and they had that particular variant of the Megaton in there. And I said, "Ooh, I'm gonna when I get back home, I'm gonna see if I can score one of those." So fast forward, I get back home, I score one. Kyle sees it in my collection, like one of the many times he's been over. He's like, "Hey man, that's the one I want. If you ever sell that, just make sure you hit me up." And I'm like, "I promise I will." And guess what? I kept my promises.
That's right.
So we were.
Because of it.
It was destined to be his because he was with me when I was actually made aware of it in Japan, in the case, and I found it, and I had it for almost 10 years, and now it's going back to Japan. So another full circle moment, and I love that kind of story. Excellent.
Can I ask how much they run for now?
They're a lot now.
Oh, I could imagine.
They're super duper expensive because of their limited run, but let's just say I got it for a wonderful price. I'm very happy for how much it costs, and he's happy to have him in my collection.
He's still in the family. I consider him still in the family.
That's right.
I'm not upset.
Right.
I'm not mad.
All right. So in addition to this, I ignored my hiatus and the Godzilla store.
Oh yeah.
They had. I didn't think I was going to get anything from the Godzilla store at all. And then my friend Angelique posted the link to my Facebook page, and before I got snippy about it, I was like, well, let's see what they have. And they had the glow-in-the-dark King Ghidorah figure, which is sold out online from Box Lunch. And I was like, this is like a 5-inch figure. This will go perfectly up there and won't take up any room. Thank you, Jonathan. You know what else they had from Super 7 on the Godzilla store website? The San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Rodan.
Yeah.
Which matches my real Rodan up there.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay,
Isn't
now
it
I've got to pull
awesome?
that back down.
That
It's
box
so
is
cool.
dope.
I mean,
Just
the
for
boxes, I was waiting for them to do the box version. Because to me, this is really what makes the figure.
And the figure's
I love
awesome.
it.
But
I mean, I haven't even taken it out of the box yet, because I'm going to keep it in there until I get to Japan. But this glowy Ghidorah was absolutely, best hiatus yet. It actually probably is my best hiatus yet.
So Kyle,
because go
can you
ahead.
do me a favor? Can you vamp for a second? I have one more thing to show off. I'll be right back.
Sure, I actually have one more thing to show off as well.
What you got?
This is a GMK figure from M1, and I have the collection of M1s in the back. I'm missing probably about 3 or 4 of them altogether.
Real? Oh,
but
that's not bad.
they did a show called All Monsters Attack in the Los Angeles area. I believe Pasadena, but I'm not sure. And they showed this. This was on the M1 table.
Beautiful.
Glow in the dark, purple
Beautiful.
spray. Never seen it before. Green spine. And of course, I had several people hitting me up like, "Did you see this? Did you see this?" And Nick Sides, the Sofubi Psycho himself, picked this up for me. I hope he likes that nickname that I made up for him. Anyway, he picked this up for me, and I'm super duper grateful he did, because it's gorgeous, and it's perfectly right over there with the other GMKs. So
That's serendipitous.
that is the last thing I have to show, I believe, for my hiatus. I mean, show it and tell.
So I've got one
more thing to show. Yeah,
I do, and this is not. This was actually a gift, so it's still hiatus, under the title of hiatus. So,
hang on a second, Jonathan. My mouse is not responding. Can you make David into the center square, please? Thank you.
Okay, so everybody knows that G Akamoto and I are about the same age, and we love Aurora model kits. That's our connection. We love the old box art. We love the Universal Monsters, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I was so stoked when he announced, he told me a long time ago that X Plus was going to produce a styrene version of a Universal Monster that was never released before. And I've talked about it before on the show. And it finally made it here. It was sent to Seattle, but they forwarded it here to my mom's. And it came, and it is the beautiful Revenge of the Creature styrene model from X Plus. And I mean, I'm not exaggerating when I say this is one of my favorite things I've gotten in a long time, because I've wanted a representation of this version of the creature for so long. I love the movie. It really doesn't exist. There's a few like really obscure resin model kits out there that are very expensive and not very realistic looking. But finally, someone did it right. And box art, it looks like it's bought at the Woolworths in Pine Beach, which is like, right, John? And it's just so, John knows, because you know that these things were all we had back in the day. And yeah, Larry, I can't wait to see what I do with it too. I really have to bone up on my styrene building because I haven't built one in so long. I have the Gamera 3 I have to build too.
Yeah.
So, but I think this is good. This has to be my first one, because I'm just so stoked. And thank you, G, so much. You're an awesome friend. I love it, and I can't wait to show it off. And again, I can't wait to see what you do next down the line, because I know there's more coming in this kind of box, a styrene monster box kind of thing. So I'm glad I remembered to show this off too, because I'm stoked.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They should release them in glow in the dark if they haven't.
Oh, I'll get it when it's, yeah, for sure. And they'll probably do a black and white one too, like a silver screen. And
yeah, exactly. Right.
Too much. But anyway, thank you.
So, Jonathan, I still don't have keyboard control. I may actually have to bounce out and jet back in. But would you do me a favor, sir, and please add our special guests, Peter Santamaria, plus
Heyo.
Hector and Hillary Arsa, who are joining us to chat about some cool announcement, show-off stuff soon. But as we normally like to do when we bring on a guest around this time, if you guys have anything that you've gotten in the past, like, well, normally we say in the past month, but, you know, you're not on here every month. So if you have something you've gotten in the past, something or other that you wanted to show off, some cool stuff, this is your opportunity, Peter.
Well, first of all, I was looking up. Thank you. I appreciate
from
that.
Mondo, if I didn't say that, don't think I did.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I was looking up the definition of biatus, and I don't think any of you guys really understand what that word means.
I literally made up the words. So
yeah, I was on a diet like that one time, and I didn't lose any weight. I'm just going to tell everybody about that.
Yeah.
So
it was your version of keto. That's how you did it.
Yeah, I was like reverse diet. I want to biatus like John Ruffin, man. Let me know. Send me the way you do it, man. That sounds really good to me.
Don't you lump me in with those people either. Besides, they're the ones with that biatus crap.
You're the only one. Wait, I got a bone to pick with you. Does that Titanosaurus technically count as Sofubi? I know it's not vinyl. I know it's not literally.
Ooh,
but
Peter,
you've never had an issue with the material. Clearly, you've always said it's not for me. I like. That one is right on the line, Leslie. Some people are calling it the threshold collectible.
First of all, you might need to do a drug test Monday morning. And secondly, this is not so fubu. This is realistic and nothing stylized. He's not
shiny.
Pink. He's not orange. He's not anything like that. He is a suit accurate, realistic version. And that's what I like. Hey, you know what?
Is there a zipper on the back?
Not well. You know what? Let's just see. Let's see. Well, still.
No.
I mean, but in a lot of ways, he's real because Titanosaurus was real. But you know what? Now that I think about it, you know what? We have never been on a stream together like this. Like I'm always absent for some reason, like nothing intentional. But I have to say,
this is my favorite stream yet.
I have to say,
go ahead.
That if there ever was a piece that would make me kind of go over to that side,
holy shit,
your Mecha Godzilla might be be the piece to get me over there.
Jonathan, the studio audience. That's big. That's huge news. I was just texting with Hector and behind the scenes. Look what I wrote him. I wrote, let's see. I wrote him. I wrote that you're my white whale, basically. That if I could get Leslie to buy any soft vinyl Sofubi collectible, that is worth more than anything because that is unattainable. So that right there alone, I'm gonna clip that out, and that's my new ringtone going forward.
You're calling me Moby Dick on a family-friendly show. That's awesome. That's amazing.
I love it.
But hey,
Thanks,
It
man. I
does look
appreciate
great.
that.
It does
That's
look
an
great.
honor. I appreciate that very much, and I'm so happy that Hillary and Hector could hear that too, because I've told them before, like if we could get Leslie excited about it, we're in good shape. I did get this pickup as a gift from my buddy Jacob Walsh, and I've loved this sculpt for a long time, but I for some reason I even love it more blank, and I've seen people have it in their collections, and I'm like, I'll never find this, but if I ever do, I'll pick it up. And then one day I saw Jacob, who, by the way, is the co-host of Monster Island with Jay Key from Toku Toy Town.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, awesome dude. And I saw it on a picture he posted. I go, that's an awesome piece. Where'd you get it? I'm looking for one. And he just sent it to me as a gift. Super nice dude. So I love that one. And then another pickup I got, and since you guys posted or talked about the Super 7 reaction, I hope you're not sleeping on this guy.
Oh, he's
right.
Might as well grab it.
Glow.
Because this, not only the glow is insane on the glow in the dark Hedera, but I love these colors so much. I flat out told Brian Flynn that we're going to steal these colors one day at Mondo, and that's out in the open. So I guess
they're classic Sofubi colors.
Exactly. What are they trying to like
stealing from Maru-san? And
exactly.
well,
they're not innovating. Yeah. We'll take this and we'll do it. We'll take it, but it's awesome. In all seriousness, I went back and got all the glow in the dark reactions, and they're so good, so good. I bought this guy twice because I just love the packaging he comes in so much too. That green and black it's a perfect like figure as art type packaging. I love it.
Right on.
So yeah, that's my pickups.
Sweet.
Hector, what'd you get?
All right.
Well, you were showcasing your Hedras and stuff like that. I mean,
yeah.
I also have this.
There it is.
Oh,
I haven't taken it out of the packaging because I have them all like up against the wall, like
same.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
they're so good.
They look good in package.
the whole
It
presentation.
looks great in package.
Yeah, they do.
The whole presentation on these reaction glow in the darks and the paint apps on them are so good. I love them.
Who would have thought black and white kaiju Godzilla characters would be a good move? Like, really cool.
When I was in Japan several months ago, we were there, and I don't know if you all are familiar with Real X Head or Real Head. He is a Sofubi designer, Mori-san, very amazing toy designer, and he basically has his own little shop outside of Tokyo, and he opens it up every Sunday in the morning, and he drops 70 to 90 rare Sofubi figures that he's created every other Sunday, I believe. And they have a huge line outside of like basically his home. People just walk in the streets in the neighborhood. I was lucky enough with a couple of other folks from Mondo to go visit Mari-san, and he gave us gave us the right to purchase one of his drops that he was going to be that Sunday. And this is probably one of my favorite pieces that I have in my collection, just being that it, these things, they sell out in an hour. He never revisits the same colorway again or the same head again. The body gets reused a bunch, but he swaps heads and colors. So it's really just a unique piece, and just in love with it, and was lucky enough to meet him. He's a fantastic guy. He showed us around his little shop, probably the same size of this room. And it was just really, really cool experience. So I did want to share this with you all.
Fantastic. I love soft goods on a Sofubi figure.
Yeah, he's got this cool. It's just like he's got the very Kamen Rider vibes.
Yes.
It's just such a cool design. I love this head, like the bug eyes. It's just really, really neat.
It's awesome.
I'm not positive, but I think that artist is actually going to have like a gallery show at the Hakaba Gallery in Nakano Broadway soon.
Oh, yes, he probably
huge lineup of stuff coming up soon.
Yeah, he's really well known there. His stuff's all over the Mandarakes out there too, and but they just the aftermarket is triple, quadruple what you would buy for.
Yeah.
We also haven't been on with you guys since this amazing piece dropped, and I was lucky enough to grab one of the perks of the job. And I want to shout out Hector and the whole team that worked on this, because this is my favorite Space Godzilla figure that's ever been produced. I've told them behind the scenes, I've told other people, I love the proportions on it. I know it's a biased statement, but come on, man. Everybody's agreed the thing is badass. I just love the proportions on it. And it doubles as a weapon. You got a nice handle. Bludgeon anybody. Keep it by the bed.
Well, you know what, Peter? I think that the cherry blossom variant of that figure is by far the quintessential Space Godzilla figure, Sofubi figure ever made.
Look at it. There it is. Speaking of,
it is.
Give him the
it
one.
is- that's it, Hector. It's nearly perfect, and I got to get my ass out of this hiatus. Whether I know what
Get it
it means or not,
first,
Peter.
then come out of
Okay.
it.
Whether I know what it means or not, and I know the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? And I am on the road, so I can't be buying stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful, it's perfect, and it is the quintessential piece.
That's the first soft vinyl figure that my wife Gabby requested. Gabby actually wanted to watch the movie after seeing that figure. Her quote was, "Who is she? She is the moment." Of course, yeah, we watched it. I let her.
Hector, that's like the you're so pretty. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I couldn't be happier with the response, and especially people getting these in hand and seeing everyone posting photos about them. It's so cool, and I love Space Godzilla. I feel like he doesn't get enough love, or he or she or whatever, it doesn't get enough love, but it's one of my favorite kaiju of all time besides Biollante. And it's just being able to sculpt it and work on this piece and the response it got was really special.
Well deserved. It's well deserved.
Yeah, love it.
Thank you. Peter, do you have something else to show off?
Popular it is.
Well, I have this other thing laying around. No big deal. Let me get it.
Let's see it.
Wipe off the dust.
Just a heads up, my stuff's still not responding, so I'm actually gonna dip out and
That's fine.
come back in. So please just continue.
Yeah. So I am so excited to share with you guys a major first in a lot of ways, but the brand new Mondo AttackPeter Mecha Godzilla. Every time I say officially licensed and approved by Toho, I can't believe it. Just because, coming into this business, all I ever heard was how protective they were about stylizations and interpretations. And, this year I actually got to meet a lot of the folks from Toho and them tell me in person, no, we're not kidding. It's actually cool. You're good. And I'm like, holy crap, And so the fact that here we are, the second figure, the second AttackPeter designed Godzilla figure, Mecha Godzilla, obviously. And man, let me tell you, this one was an exciting one and a tough one to produce, to design, because it's as John will tell you, Mecha Godzilla is perfect.
Yeah,
Showa era Mecha Godzilla is perfect.
Best Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah, and it's like I sat with it and I'm like, what can I do to Mecha Godzilla to, first of all, not be so audacious to say that it needs any, like, it's that perfect, right? But still, have it reasonably labeled AttackPeter. And my first idea was to think of the metal and the metallic iridescence on the suit, or it was supposed to be conveyed as metal, and use that as a way to bring in the carved block print style. You can see the black flashing to white in different spots like that. But also, keen observers will know that's not a traditional head. There's definitely some liberties taken. Most notably, they let me put in the little asterisk here, which is normally a few little rings, so it's super subtle. And then we flared out the eyebrows, in a big way.
The eyebrows.
Great.
Cool, right? Give them like a more menacing look.
More like a no mask,
Yeah, yes, 100%, 100%. And we're so excited because, as Raph the Archive just said, Tuesday the pre-orders go up, and
right.
And it's going to be a timed edition, right? And so people who missed out on the original Godzilla, who I want to show off too, because this was the success that allowed this one to be possible. This was from the Godzilla Museum line that there was like an 8-inch line that came with the base. But now this new Mecha Godzilla is not part of any specific line. So I do want to say this is hopefully, knock on wood, and I'm knocking on here, a kickoff for a new line. It's much bigger, as you can see. And the reason for the size change is so that it lines up with a lot of your favorite soft vinyl, right? Like this 65 here, or this guy who's pretty popular right now, right? They're good side by side buddies, you know. So super exciting to finally have a figure that lines up. But I think most people will admit that the thing that catches your eye first, besides the fact that now these are going to be articulated, you're going to have the ability to pose the hands and the arms, the head turns, right? It'll turn. Is the paint. And the paint, honestly, was such a challenge to produce this. And we're so lucky that Hillary was able to put together a paint that so accurately represents. She painted the original figure that was sent to the factory.
Wow.
And so her capturing that design on paint made it possible, because otherwise, I really do believe these factories look at these prototypes and go, what? You know what I mean? Like, we're going to do what?
Wow.
And so her doing that made it a real reality and a possibility. So I'm so happy Hillary's here because she can talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
It's amazing.
Yeah. What was it like, Hillary? Because I feel like this is a nightmare when you see it at first, but you don't seem to break a sweat. And she did the first one, the Godzilla figure too. So it was not her first rodeo.
Yeah, it was. We were trying to kind of figure out what kind of approach we wanted to go with. There's a couple of different techniques you can do, but I think the most straightforward way was to go in with the black after everything was already white. And it takes a really steady hand, so it was definitely.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, it was that, you know, I was a makeup artist for a really long time, so I had that to kind of fall back on with my paint.
It's a good point that you bring up, because when I was in art school, a lot of the people who were in classes with me were dental students.
Wow.
And it was like sculpture students and dental students, or painting students and dental students, because they were required to go in and steady their hands. So, you know, knowing that it makes sense, because some of these little nooks and crannies and the flaring of the lines to make it actually look like they are carved in and printed.
They do. They really do.
And it's so convincing. I mean, my God.
Right? There's some photographs that you guys will see where it's like a brain breaking again, because it looks 2D and 3D at the same time when it's against a certain background. And I can't wait for these to get out there for all the great photographers like David to do their job.
I'm already thinking of ideas. And Hillary, you know what strikes me about it are the eyes. I love the way you painted the eyes.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
they're mesmerizing. They're just like staring into your soul, and they're just like, they're great. It's amazing. And like Peter said, I can't wait to photograph the blank out of it. So
now, Hector, can you talk about a little bit about the production on this one and how it differs from the first Godzilla?
Yeah. So, you know, we love the first Godzilla, the first one we did with Peter, right? It was part of this museum line that we were trying to get out there. And, you know, the one thing we always regretted about it was two things. One, it felt small. And two, it had no articulation. And that was the first thing, like when Peter and I started talking about, let's do another AttackPeter. What should it be? Should it be another Godzilla? Should it be this? And, you know, first of all, we landed on Mecha Godzilla like right away. And then it was, well, I think we need to make this bigger, and we need to have articulation, and it needs to be true roto vinyl, soft vinyl, right? So those were the first two things that we decided to tackle. And then, you know, translating Peter's design into 3D is very difficult. It's very, very difficult because it's meant to be flat. It's meant to be on a flat plane. And so when you approach it in 3D, you have to really get a sense of trying to capture both what Peter captured in his concept art and make it work in a 3D space. So, you know, we actually took a lot of inspiration and it was from the original suit, right? That for that particular Mecha Godzilla. And it was all about, you know, does the silhouette look good? Does the silhouette still capture Mecha Godzilla from that era? And I think that was the hardest thing to nail. It was nailing that barrel chest, nailing the head proportions versus the legs versus the hands. You know, I wanted it to still feel like favorite Mecha Godzilla design. I still wanted it to feel that way, but still capture everything that Peter had designed for it. So it took a minute. It took a lot of tinkering. We worked with Tufan, who also sculpted the previous one. It was just a lot. It took several months to get us to this point where we were actually happy with it. And then once we printed it, and then Hillary you can talk about this a bit more if you want, but it's basically the approach was we tried different approaches. You can try, like a wash approach, right?
Mhm.
And when we were doing that, it just felt like it was just coming out to look a little too. It was like staining the like that cream.
Didn't have that like really pristine, crisp look that I really wanted for it personally. When we started going in and we were wiping away the black, that cream color was looking really kind of muddy, and I wasn't happy with it. So I was like, well, let's try something different.
Yeah, and so the best approach that she found was actually just hand painting the whole thing. Wow. So every single black line had to be hand painted. So yeah, to your point, Peter, I don't know what the factory manufacturers thought when they got it in their hands and were like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But
they just sent back. They just sent back the 3 dots.
Yeah, they were just
like,
great, cool, but no, I mean,
Yeah.
they sent it back, and it's near perfect.
It's
big shout out
Fantastic.
if you all are familiar with Acro. They do a lot of the Kaiju remix series.
Yeah, I love that.
They also do stuff. Yeah, they do stuff for X Plus. Kaz over there is lovely. He actually took us out to dinner in Osaka when we were there. But that's his manufacturing factory that's doing it for us. So we are working with Acro on this one, and they're also doing the James Groman Godzilla and the Jesse Hernandez Urban Asset Godzilla for us as well. But his stuff is just incredible. I mean, everything they do is incredible. So
looks great. Red looks great against that red background too. And
it does.
And Hillary, I'm so glad you decided to 86 the idea of the wash, because this represents Peter's block printing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was a wash on there, it probably still would look cool, but it wouldn't be an AttackPeter piece per se, because that's his signature, the block print, and this it's like a 3D block print. And another thing I have to say is the mere fact that Leslie Chambers responds the way he did, being serious, that you got the silhouette correct, because if it wasn't correct enough, Leslie would not have responded to it the way he is. Now, let's see if he still buys the thing. But right now,
we're gonna watch. We're gonna watch behind the scenes to see the ticker.
But we'll take what we get. But I thought it was going to be the passion tank, Peter, that you showed with this. That was
right. Me
turn
too.
Leslie over. Turn him over to the dark side. But no, it's you, Peter. You get the gold star for that.
Listen, I'm talking like we may have to put a quote on the box that says,
"You might,
almost got me to buy it." Leslie Chambers, that would be incredible.
Or just put quotation marks. Yes. That's all you gotta do.
Yes. I love it. I want to say something too, that we're sitting here now. It's 2023, and it's like it's easy to kind of like look at this. It's not even the. I had the Daruma figure come out. I had the Godzilla figure with Mondo. This is Mecha Godzilla. There's Takaro that Hector also oversaw the production of. Like, there was a moment in 2018 and 2019 where I was doing really well. The prints were selling really well. A lot of big companies wanted to work with some licensed stuff. And I would just go to the companies and say, hey, like, what do you guys think about a 3D figure that captures this linoleum block print style? And with all due respect, kindly said, there's no chance. It doesn't translate. It's too flat. And even if we could do it, what would it really look like? And one person said, it's actually a little too artsy for us. And I think that's something that you put in a gallery, not in toy collectors' hands. I got all of that. And it wasn't, I've told the story before, but it wasn't until Hector and I started talking and this is honestly why I wanted to work at Mondo so bad, is to work with Hector, because Hector's got a set of balls on him that are like massive. They're fucking huge. And they're really like, you see him sitting, even sitting right there is a pain for him. But the point is, Hector, I said, Hector, why don't we do, and I put him on blast publicly on an Instagram live. I go, Hector, why don't we do a figure based on these prints that are selling so well? He goes, let's do it.
Awesome.
And I didn't know if he was like, overly zealous or what. But the truth is, like, look at the consistency, look at the hype around the Mondo soft vinyl stuff, you know. It's something that we take it for granted, but there was a time where people said no shot, it won't work, and even if we did it, no one would buy it. And now we're sitting here talking about the second one in the Godzilla line that Toho loves, the collectors love, you know, and it's a thing now where people say, oh, I recognized your work immediately. I saw it it works so good as a figure. I thank him all the time. I really do, but I can't thank him enough, because this changed the game for me. These figures changed the game into what people think is possible with the work, and they boosted the cred of my other work. Like, oh, it's like legit, you know. It's like, so it's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just after a certain point, you can't take it for granted. You have to remember that this was a super steep uphill battle. Yeah, huge.
Well, Peter, the person who said to you, I don't think it's going to work because it's too artsy and it belongs in a gallery. To me, that's a huge selling point. And to a lot of
I thought so.
Because you know, designer Sofubi belongs in galleries, right? That's where people spend thousands of dollars on designer Sofubi. So that's not really a logical sort of argument, because when it blurs that line between art, pop culture, Japanese monsters, and Japan, that's like Kyle and I for sure, that's our sweet spot, and John too. We love that whole combination of things, and it all comes full circle in that piece. And the more we see like that, the more. And another thing too, the designers soft vinyl, it's super expensive. You're making these affordable too.
It's gallery quality at collector friendly prices, Dave, is what you're trying to say.
Come on down.
Come on down.
Our prices are insane. But no, it's true, and it just struck me when you made that comment about, oh, it's too artsy. It belongs in a gallery. So yeah, great. So I can put it in my living room now, right?
Right. I mean, that's how I feel about it. And you know, Hector and Hillary and we all have talked about this when we get together at conventions and eating dinner. Like, this is not stuff that this is not, obviously it's our bread and butter in terms of it puts the food on our table, but it's also what we love to do. And I don't relegate my stuff to one corner of a room. And, you know, like it just lives among us, and it's something that we love to do, and it deserves to be explored and it deserves to be something that's challenging. And, you know, how long have you guys been collecting? It's like at some point, even the coolest stuff starts to feel like, okay, that's cool. I've seen it before, that's good for the next new collector. But how do we keep exciting people who have everything, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I know you smashed the status quo.
Right.
Yeah. It's kind of the philosophy too, right? I mean, when we're doing these, especially with the soft vinyl line that we're doing, it's just, it's not that I get bored, it's that I want to see something new and fresh and exciting, and I don't want to be doing what everyone else is doing, right? And, you know, all due respect to what everyone else is doing. There's so many amazing custom soft vinyls coming out, and just in general, just a lot of people doing great stuff in the Godzilla space overall. But, you know, we have to, you know, sometimes feel like carve our own little section of it, right? So working with Peter and doing something as unique as what his work brings to the table, or recently the Urban Aztec Godzilla that we put up, you know, just another example of something where it's like, oh, you don't know, you would have never thought to see Godzilla in that light, let alone Toho say, yeah, this is an official piece that we're letting you completely redesign our character. Is, I think, something pretty special. And, you know, kudos of course to Peter, and, you know, his aesthetic has, you know, endeared itself to the folks at Toho, to where they're, I think, you know, has helped bridge a new era of possibilities here, where they're, you know, it could potentially mean, more open to exploration, to artist interpretation, fresh, and something that, you know, isn't, you know, can just pave the way to something new in the future.
I mean, we got Jesse's Urban Aztec Godzilla came out. We internally were like, awesome. Will it ever fly? Not all, like, will it fly with Toho? Will it fly with the fans? Like, who? Like, and everybody, it was a resounding yes. You know, Toho was awesome and loved it. You know, our higher ups loved it, and the fans spoke in a big way, big way. For that figure. So
it is a phenomenal toy.
Yeah. So we're super excited, you guys. And so Tuesday is the day
And
it
it's
drops.
a terrible time to be a collector because there's so much.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I was supposed to be on a hiatus.
Well, there's something for everyone, and that's what I think we learned with Jesse's piece.
Jesus
specifically-
Christ,
with Jesse's piece
man.
is that
I apologize. I apologize, Peter. I'm sorry. They just don't believe that crap. Like, there's no such thing as a hiatus with John. He's just every month he has like 85 different things, and then he tries to downplay it by saying, I don't really have that much. But then like 45 minutes later, we're still going through books and old Godora scales. So just don't, man, boy, bye.
That's what that backdrop is for. If it falls down, it's like Scrooge McDuck's vault, but it's all Sofubi. He swims in it after every show. I don't know if you know that.
You don't want to see what's behind. And may I just say how beautiful the paint application, just the whole design of the Mecha Godzilla is. It's so lively. I mean, it would be beautiful just animated. The flames, it is like he's firing. I mean, he really hit it artistically. So it is a beautiful piece. I look forward to it.
Sir.
I agree.
Tuesday. So let's talk about Tuesday. So where do we go? What do we do?
Mondoshop.com. I'm sure it'll be like front and center on the site. But we'll be posting links everywhere. Mondo will be posting links. Make sure you're following us all on socials. We're gonna be obnoxious about this. Let's be honest. Tomorrow I'm going on AJ's show and another show right after that. I'm booked for a stream every night this week. I'm not even kidding. You're gonna be sick of me by the end of the week. But if you want this, you'll be able to get it as long as you're paying attention. We're doing a timed edition, right, Hector?
Yes. So it's a time just similar to what we did last time with Urban Aspects piece. We just felt it'd be best to just kind of give everyone a shot to get it and leave it open for, I think it's open for an entire week. And so it's just basically taking what, it's like a made to order almost, where it's like, we're just going to take orders, and after the time runs out, then we take it out, and that's it. And this colorway will never be seen again, basically. And we'll move on to another version, which, and so forth.
And
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Leslie, please.
I have a question. And blow me up if you can, Jonathan, if you can. I got a question in regards to, this is a Mondo question. Like, the Mecha Godzilla is absolutely phenomenal. But as you can see, I have your statue of the Tokyo SOS. Really awesome. Just in case you can't really talk about the next one, can you give us a hint what the next premium statue might be? Or at least, can you at least tell us what era it may come from? Is it Showa, Heisei, Millennium?
So we did show off one last year at DCon that has been a mission to get it out. And if I can say, we did show off a King Ghidorah Heisei era King Ghidorah, but we're still in the midst of trying to figure out what the timing is for that. And then other than that, next year, just stay tuned. We're still planning on supporting that line for sure.
Great.
Awesome.
Perfect.
What do you want to see, Leslie?
I love that camera.
Really?
Yeah.
Honestly, because there are a lot of things being celebrated next year. Mothra vs. Godzilla, 84, 74. We're going to forget Final Wars ever existed because that movie's trash. So we're not going to worry about that. But if we're up to me, I want to see an imposter Godzilla or something involving 84. That's what I would like to see. If we're up to me.
Favorite Godzilla design of all time for me personally. That was the movie that kind of cemented Godzilla for me as in my adolescence for sure, and that's the reason why I chose 84 as the first off vinyl Godzilla for us. But yeah, no, something Peter and I have been talking a lot about with this big the bigger statue line is would it be cool to involve more epic, more battle scenes, right? Where it's not just a static statue standing on its own. I mean, we've kind of been playing around with it by including the larva, right, with the SOS, and wanting to add more of the other kaiju in there, just because I love Godzilla, obviously, but it's just so much more fun when he's involved in a fight, or the other kaiju are present that don't normally get a lot of love. So, I mean, I think for us, if we move forward with that, with a lot of these like bigger statues, right, and we do more of these, I would love to see more like battles and stuff like that. I don't know, Peter, what do you think?
I mean, we have these conversations all the time, and I'm always like, I would get rid of all my 30 centimeter, all my 25 centimeter, just to have gigantics. Like, I love gigantics.
Oh, my man, Jesus Christ!
Right?
Yes.
Yes. I would, right? Wouldn't you? It's just better, bigger. I don't know what to say. And I'm 5'5", so maybe it's like a fascination I have with anything larger than me. So, but yeah, I there's so many. I just want awesome gigantics, and I don't care what it is. I also prefer vinyl over resin, just because I want to be able to, like, I grab this guy, put him on my desk as a reference. I move him over. It's like I'm not too precious. You know what I mean? So I love vinyl. I love large stuff. What I wonder nowadays, I'm being totally transparent, is where is the appetite of the collectors for gigantic scale in terms of, what they cost to produce? I mean, you may not, what they cost when they come out, and that's a response to how much they cost to produce. You know what their shipping costs are going to be, and you probably have a ton of stuff on your shelves. Do you have the footprint availability for it? But to me, I just want 100% Nick size is absolutely
Nick size.
But the point is that like I want like weird stuff. Like I want a 65 Godzilla gigantic. I want that big ass face. I want a gigantic. I want a gigantic Ibira. You know what I'm saying? Like I want the weird stuff, man. So I don't know. Like, and I also like because Kyle, you showed off that new Megaton, the hype that everybody feels around a Megaton. There's it's like it's the Godzilla vs. Hedorah 71, I guess, where he's holding the two little golden orbs, a soft vinyl. I think it's a Marmot figure, but it's like, you're right. But it's like, it's that perfect balance of a soft vinyl stylized figure and a realistic design. I would love that in this size. And I don't know where everybody else stands on it, but that's where I feel like, those kind of things. A giant Gigan, where is it? Where is it?
Yeah. Right?
Why doesn't it exist? You know what I mean? I'm calling for a revolution.
Gigantic Gigan many years ago.
Yeah. So, but the truth is, look, here's the reality. Hector, myself, and everybody in the Mondo toy team, we listen super closely to everything everybody says, because we have our, prejudices and what we want to see and what we want to own. But we also got to make sure we are successful enough to do the next one, right? So we're always paying attention and combing all the groups and seeing. And I talked to David, I talked to Kyle, all you guys, what should we make, And so you guys let us know. You guys let us know today. You guys let us know in the future online. And eventually that stuff leaks into what we're doing. And if we can see, look, gigantic 55, that's an awesome idea. There's a lot of good stuff out there. That's why I said, Leslie, what do you want to see?
Gigantic 55. Who said that crap? Who said that?
if it's done right.
Gigantic Godzilla Tower. That's the other thing. Like, that's awesome, but is that too niche? You know what I mean? But I want to see it all in that giant 18 to 20 inch size, 100%.
So curious here.
Go ahead.
You had a long time ago, you had a Gigan statue, but it was a sketch that we saw during one of the presentations, I think for San Diego Comic-Con or one of the other Mondo events.
Mm-hmm.
Did that, is that still on the table? Did that get the NG?
A tough question.
Can you say? I mean, I'm not trying to be rude about it.
I'll be honest. It was one of those things where there was, I think that was pre-pandemic when that was shipped.
Yeah, not long ago.
Yeah, that sketch been around for a long time, and I think what ended up happening is that we ended up moving our focus so much more to the soft vinyl stuff, and just when they gave us the okay to be like, yeah, you can do soft vinyl, and yeah, you could do it in glow in the darks and pinks, and I'm like, okay, when that opened up for us, it just became like this. We have to do this, and it just a lot of our efforts. And Godzilla, is one of my favorite, if not favorite, IP of all time. We also do work on a bunch of other stuff, right? So it became one of those things where and that's why pretty much
or other IP and soft vinyl soon, Kyle, which we can't talk about yet.
That's
Yeah,
awesome
yeah.
too.
I mean,
that's super awesome.
Yeah, I think
I'm just kidding. I think I love all the stuff that the variety that Mondo puts out. I'm just a greedy kaiju collector.
No,
well,
but
you have that amazing row of Gigan behind you. I was just telling Peter, I was like, we need to make a freaking Gigan. What are we doing? Like, Gigan has to be next. So
everybody talks a big game. How many people are on board and would support a megaton-sized Gigan? I hear a lot of talk. You know what I mean? Everybody's game
I'll buy it
until pre-order time shows up. Okay, that's 2 people.
Guys, I mean, I don't know where you guys get the space from. I mean, I have a big collection, but you guys saw my collection, Peter.
Yeah, we
and
did.
There's no room. Where the hell am I going to put a gigantic Gigan?
You need to take about a third of it and donate it to the lesser fortunate kids and let them start their collecting journey, and then you make space for the new stuff.
One in, one out. That's got to be it. Because I can't fit a small Gigan, much less a gigantic Gigan in my collection. But I mean, the spirit is willing, but the space is not. I mean, I agree with you about the gigantics. I mean, a gigantic Daisenso Goji would be like so freaking awesome. I've been telling G that for like 3 years now.
Or a gigantic storyboard.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I would get rid of a lot of stuff for a gigantic storyboard. Yes, please. Yes.
What do you guys are one of those online petitions? What are they called when you you know what I'm talking about? The one where everybody signs up, some petition online. What is it called?
Oh, the change.org.
Change.org. That's how we'll do it. If we get enough signatures, we'll start.
Change.org needs.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, man.
That's it.
I think I don't necessarily disagree with, megaton scale Sofubi stuff, but in terms of just making gigantics, there's a lot of Godzillas that haven't been hit up yet.
Exactly. Look how happy Leslie is. You're gonna rob him of that joint.
I mean, there's a lot. If
that doesn't warm your heart,
almost any gigantic scale Showa era monster, you're gonna get people loving it.
I'm with you.
Oh my god.
It's obvious, but like a giant on model vinyl Hedera would be amazing. Like it'd be amazing.
Or just eat Taco Tuesday and go to your bathroom. You got your hairdryer right there.
Wow.
Shots fired.
Wow.
But yeah, man, we're game for almost anything, as you can see, and thank God, Toho's been amazing and allowing us to explore the stylizations that we have with my stuff, with Jesse's stuff. I mean, Hector's stuff is not 100% on model, and that's intentional, and they're cool with all of that because it gives you its own signature flair. So I think if the fans keep showing up, Urban Aztec Godzilla, the reaction to that was very encouraging. We can do more stuff that's bold and exciting. Gigantic Minya, I've been asking for it for years.
Life size Minya at that point, right?
When I was off screen, did you guys talk about the future of the Jesse franchise? Is
not yet.
No. Okay.
No.
You can ask Hector, and he will answer you.
I'll ask right now. Number one, is that going to be available in any other color variants?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Bronze patina. I'm just saying bronze patina. Just saying.
I mean, what's great about Jesse's piece is that you can make it as vibrant as we did with that last colorway. There's the color palettes are pretty much infinite, right? You can do blue, you could do pinks, you could do turquoises, you can do yellows, you can do whatever, right? But like you were just saying, you could do cool stone versions or jade versions, bronze patinas.
Yeah, a stone version would.
It lends itself to being kind of like a totem or this old piece that you have found in some temple somewhere, right? So yeah, I mean, we definitely plan to support it a lot more. We love how that turned out. Jesse's has been a friend of Mondo's for a long time, and we've been wanting to work with him in some capacity for a long time, and to see the response we got on that was incredible. So yeah, that and much more hopefully coming down the road from Jesse for maybe other kaiju and stuff like that too. So
yeah.
And
awesome.
we have I would say stay tuned for Godzilla Day. We're gonna have a couple really great releases.
Man, that's amazing.
Godzilla Day. So you can just keep an eye out, and I'm sure we'll make some posts about it coming up in October. But we plan on supporting Godzilla Day, and
Wow.
hopefully if we're at DCon at the end of in December, we'll have a whole bunch of new Godzilla stuff to show off there as well.
Nick Sides is asking if you guys are coming to G-Fest next year.
Oh, I want to. I think
we're desperate to go.
I know the intent post-con was definitely there, Peter.
Yeah.
We have the receipts. Hector and I have said, who cares? Let's just go. We'll go in and out. Maybe we won't stay the whole weekend, but we go, we comb, you do some recon for work. It's a work expense.
Yeah, G-Fest has been top of the list. It just always lands a week before Comic-Con. It's like such a hard time for us since Comic-Con becomes such a big thing. But I hope that we
they sent us everywhere this year, Kyle.
Hector and I.
Hector and I got sent everywhere. Every show this year, we were at the licensing show, like professional adults,
Yeah.
And like talking to other companies. Yeah.
Like
it was crazy.
Grown-ups. That's awesome.
That's great.
No,
but it's important for us to come and talk to you guys. Obviously, we love you guys, and we watch your show as fans. But all the idea coming to talk to the audience and the whole community around it, because the success of the first Godzilla that I put squarely on this audience and this community who evangelized for us 100%. Because you guys. I tell other people all the time, you want to see what an awesome fandom is? Go look at Godzilla fandom. It's not what's happening in Star Wars, not what happens in Marvel and all that. The fandom is so like celebratory with everything. Even when they troll like everybody else's least favorite, it's always spirited, and the energy from that literally lifted this Godzilla figure to a point where everybody wanted to talk about what we're doing next. After this guy, and if it wasn't for if I tell Hector, and we agree on this, obviously, like if you don't get you guys on board, there's no point. Like if you guys aren't impressed, if you're not excited, if it doesn't make you go, all right, that's really cool, there's no point. And so I know you guys are hyped, and I'm super hyped because of it. And so go forth and spread the word on it.
Especially Tuesday, right?
Yes, Tuesday.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Biatus Free Tuesday, we're calling it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Smart.
In that case, I'll be
Market
there.
it.
It's like reverse Lent.
Reverse Lent.
Reverse Lent. Oh,
exactly. I love
That's horrible. That's so horrible. That really is horrible.
Wow.
But yeah, man, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
100%. Anytime.
And we love what you do, obviously. Like, and Hector, thank you for the answer on the Gigan statue, because I gotta say, like, as much as I was like, "Ooh, cool Gigan statue," you guys have been rocking the Sofubi style, like, especially with the release of Space Godzilla and Biollante, and like, okay, let's push forward with that stuff because I just want to see more, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. We just love it. It's one of the most fun we have designing something here at Mondo. For me, it's a selfish reasons because I love Godzilla so much. So it's like any chance I get to be like, yeah, I'm going to do another sculpt, because I rarely get to actually do a lot of the art these days at Mondo. But it's one of those things where it's like when I get the chance, it's always going to be like, I'm going to sculpt another soft vinyl, and that's so much fun.
Fantastic.
I love her hair. I love her hair so much.
Yes.
I really do.
Thank you so much.
It's a good color.
The love and the passion comes through for all the stuff that you guys do. It's infectious, and like you said, we all dig it. There's something for everybody that you guys have put out. Really.
Thank you.
Thanks, dude.
Appreciate you all.
Oh, cool. So it sounds like we're wrapping up this moment with Peter and Hector and Hillary. If I'm misreading that, tell me I'm way off, but I know you guys can't be here all night long.
We can't, unfortunately.
Yeah. So thank you so much for being here. So again, guys, make sure you're tuning into the Mondo website on Tuesday for the Mecha Godzilla timed release. Also, tune into what you said, AJ's stream tonight at Kaiju
Tomorrow
Live.
night. Tomorrow we're doing a Kaiju Live. He's got a table at Square apparently, and so we're gonna be doing that. you know. And so, and believe me, like it was a major negotiation when I told him I was going to come here first. He was like, okay, but thank you for telling me. You know,
I
don't
love
like to
that.
mess around with AJ. He's a serious guy.
AJ just needs to work on his scheduling game. It's cool. It really
No,
helps
it's gonna
to
be
not have
awesome. He
kids.
actually moved the show. Like I said, he actually moved the show from 9 to 8 so that I could do it, because at 9
What a nice guy.
I'm on another show that's for toys called Geek Dad Life. A lot of fun, but they're more like, you know, Marvel, NECA, Turtles, Motu, stuff like that. So I'm gonna go evangelize the word of Godzilla over there on the show.
Preach.
Awesome.
We'll preach, my friend.
Well, thank you all for having us,
Thank
and
you so
thanks
much.
for having Hillary.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
our first time on.
It was nice meeting you, Hillary.
Hillary's debut on Collect All Monsters.
Thank you. It's nice to meet you all.
Yeah.
Well, you're welcome back anytime, of course. We definitely want you back on anytime you want to show off some cool kaiju stuff. So
We'll be here.
Thank you again for being here.
Appreciate you guys having us, for real. Appreciate
Thank
it.
And now I'm going to count on my producer, Jonathan, to kick you off screen.
Like,
Yeah, because I still got
missed
no
you
control
already.
here. So I'm
missed you
just
already.
I'm just a talking head today, I guess. So yeah, wow, thank you guys. Big thank you to those guys for showing up and showing off that cool stuff, and for letting us pick their brains. I mean, I really appreciate anytime we get to talk to creators directly, and man, just having them give themselves up for accessibility to the show. I'm just super happy about that. So praise be to Peter, since I still see him back there backstage, and Hector and Hillary as well. And let's talk about some cool stuff that happened over the last time that we met. We saw the Godzilla -1 trailer drop, like the full
we
big
did.
trailer. Big trailer meaning still like only a minute. Thankfully, I'm so glad it's not like a full blown like 3-minute
Yes.
trailer like they
Yes.
usually produce. Way too much information. That's the last thing I need to see about it. So when last we spoke, Mr. Dopko,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to talk to you first, actually.
Okay.
So when last we spoke about this, you and I were sort of on the same page with the suit design. I guess when we spoke publicly about it. And I'll go into my feelings at the end here. But what I wanted to do specifically is ask you, how are you feeling about the design of Godzilla for -1 right now?
Well, you know what, Kyle? Actually, the more I see it, and the more I see sketches, which I think I sent you a few images that I
You
posted.
did. But
the more I look at
Jonathan
it,
might need to go get those from our chat if he wants
Okay.
to go grab those.
cool.
While
No,
we're talking.
no hurry. I can talk about them before that happens. The more I see, the more I like. And in the context, the designs in context with the vibe of the trailer, it's really making me excited.
Mhm.
Because I really think that this Godzilla is what not all of us, but what many of us
Yes.
have been looking for and yearning for. It's exactly what, if I was making a Godzilla movie, and I've said this to you guys privately and publicly, I'd set it in the 50s. I'd do a period piece. And Toho must have heard me through, my
They
brainwaves or
trapped
whatever.
our hotel room.
Brainwave.
Yes, that's fine. They could do that. But it really, at first, the design, to me, the head was too small. I thought the head was a little bit too small. But then from certain angles, it really does resemble like a Heisei sort of silhouette a little bit.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then when I did see it in action, it doesn't bother me as much anymore. I think the mouth should open a little bit wider. If it was my perfect Godzilla design, I think the mouth is a little smaller. Maybe it like it'll open wider. It looks like it has to open pretty wide to get that train from the trailer. But I love the people aren't really stoked about the proportion of the dorsal plates. Personally, I love big dorsal plates.
Like 'em.
I'm not mad at that. I love the way the feet look very like reptilian. I love the hands. The eyes are really interesting. We've never seen Godzilla eyes quite like this before. The decidedly crocodilian skin texture. I'm responding really well to that too. It seems to me like from a little bit we got from the trailer, it's going to go back to the original Godzilla roar too. from the Shodai Godzilla and the one they used in '84 and '91. So I'm a little bit excited for that too. It just adds an air of legitimacy to it. Yes. So here, this is a stylized sketch of what the -1 Godzilla looks like, and in this one, he just looks like a demon to me, and the head is actually much bigger than it will be in the actual suit. But there's really very few negatives about it. And yeah, this is what I was talking about before. Look at that eye. The eye is really interesting. And now you can see what I'm talking about. See how the mouth? I think it should open a little bit more. Just for my aesthetics. I mean, it's real little nitpicky stuff at this point that I'm not going to get hung up on, because overall, I'm really liking what I'm seeing, and most importantly, in conjunction with the trailer, the teaser trailer, I'm really liking what I'm seeing. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That's a very Heisei-esque silhouette, if you ask me.
And it fits in that era.
It does fit in that era. But I was talking to somebody, I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Jonathan, or I think it was John Bumpus actually, and he really liked the neon blue dorsal plates. I think that's a little too modern for this. I would prefer a little more muted color. But again, little teeny nitpicking things that I'm not going to get hung up on this time. I'm gonna go for it, and I'm going to be even more cautiously optimistic than I ever was for a release of a Japanese Godzilla movie. And I really do think this is the one that I've been waiting for personally. And again, it's the more I see, the more I like, and the more I'm willing to forgive these little teeny nitpicky things that I am absolutely refused to get hung up on this time. So I'm stoked, Kyle. How about you? I mean, you are sort of on the same page as me. Are you liking it a little bit better, or are you like the same, or how do you feel?
I think for me, the design, I want to clear the air in a sense. Like, I don't want people to think that I don't like the design. Like, the design is fine, but I like this design like as much as I like the Kiryu Goji design. You know,
okay.
Like, and actually, that shot right there, if you're not looking too closely, if you're like blur your eyes a little bit, it almost looks like it could be Kiryu Goji's silhouette too.
You know what? You're right.
Very kind of upright in a sense. Like, so to me, my nitpick, and when I say that, it's a tiny issue. Like, because I'm a designer, because I like to create things. When I saw this, my first gut reaction was, this is basically just the design that's been used in Godzilla the Ride for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
That was mine too.
That's what I felt. Now, a lot of people didn't like that, and that's whatever, you know. But this is an aesthetic thing. It's in my brain. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean that changes my mind. So I still think that this is lazy, but the official response is this is lazy unless, blow me up, Jonathan. This is lazy. Yeah, soapbox time. This is lazy unless Toho and Yamazaki from sort of the beginning decided that this was the direction. Because I can see this as a Toho, one of the many things I could see being a potential reality here. I clearly understand I'm making up crap I don't know about, so I can see Toho approaching Yamazaki saying, hey, we'd like you to develop a ride for the Seibuin amusement park. We know you love the Showa era, so, you know, make that happen. And if this works out, maybe you can do a Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. I could even see him going to Toho and saying, hey, I've got this killer idea for a ride, and I'd like to develop the whole thing. And if you like it, I say we make this into my Godzilla. Like, I could see both of those things happening and being a realistic situation for the director, Yamazaki, and Toho. I have no idea how realistic that is. But if those are the reasons, I understand why there's no change to the Godzilla. Totally fine. But as a designer, as a creative, I want a new Godzilla for every movie. I want a new design, at least for every major iteration of Godzilla. So
that is valid and fair, and I agree with that absolutely. And I thought
I'm
the same
watch
thing.
the hell out of this when it comes out, though.
Oh, absolutely.
But the thing of it is, Kyle, I thought the same thing. It's the same exact design as the ride, which I liked, but I didn't love. But then the more I saw, there are nuances that are different from the ride, and that's what I'm sort of discovering now. And I wanted like a storyboard Godzilla or something like that, something that really resembles like the maquette, a storyboard. More dinosaurian,
so different, but looked so like it belongs in the Showa era.
Totally, 100%. Now, having said that, I've gotten myself hung up on little things in the past that bug me, and then I have a predisposed opinion before I even see the movie, and I don't want that to happen this time. I'm really trying to be open to what they're going to show us, and again. If that trailer had a different vibe to it, the vibe is so serious. It's scary. It's serious. It's
10
historical.
out of 10 for the vibe.
10 out of 10 for the vibe.
What you said earlier, David, about this movie, hopefully like giving a lot of fans finally what they're looking for in a movie, like a scary kaiju movie, but doesn't have to be a gore fest. It's just
no.
looks terrifying.
I was afraid if I was in those scenes with those people and they found great actors, because even in that little 2-minute clip, that acting is like it's spot on too. And again, I think there's going to be some things that I'll overlook because of the tone and because of the movie. It's going to be awesome. But is it perfect for me? No. But am I going to be stoked and go with it? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
John.
Oh.
Yes.
Or Leslie. Who's next?
No, John started speaking, so let's get John on screen.
Kyle, your comments about the decision about the suit are interesting. I think that it's insightful. If you look at the designs for Shin Godzilla, I can see why they wouldn't fly, trying to get those through with Toho. Maybe it was easier to they already had an approved design that made sense. And it makes just why deviate? Now, at first I was
why deviate? Why innovate? Why anyway?
Because in my eyes, the story is going to be more important than the look of Godzilla.
And I would welcome that. I would champion that.
So I love the design. I'm okay with it. And the eyes are very human. There's something that, it's like a human's poking through his eye through the skin. But get that story, man. That story is what I'm talking about. That trailer got me all worked up.
Me too.
Like, this is like what we've been waiting for in a way. Now, Shin Godzilla did it for me because it was personal and it was in that context. But this is kind of like what we've talked about, going back to the Odo Island-esque.
We've all talked about this, John. We've had conversations on camera and off about this, and this is as close as I think we're going to get. So the design, it's going to be what it's going to be. It's not terrible. And one thing I did forget to say, it's very anthropomorphic. The more I look at it, which is not what I was thinking. I wanted more of a dinosaurian look, but it's anthropomorphic, and it looks like it almost emotes, like the way the eyes are. Like you said, they're human-esque eyes. So, creepy. But no, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but continue, please.
That's all right. You said something that made me think. I'm glad. Can you show it without will we get in trouble?
Yeah, let's watch.
We'll turn the volume.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Yeah,
this is so perfect. The fact that Ginza. Now, let me say, is this going to be the first? Are we going to see how Godzilla's skin comes to be as we know it? Because I think that explosion is obviously it's got to be an atomic bomb drop on Ginza. And at the end, he's just full. His skin is blistering and bloody. It's like, okay, we're going to finally see how that happens. I mean, it seems to be clear. So he may. I mean, his look may change as in a certain way as the film progresses. Is that the end of the movie,
or is it the beginning of the movie?
If it's the beginning, those people are screwed.
Oh yeah, well, this monster will. He's not gonna. He's unforgiving. I mean,
that's right.
And there's a line in the trailer that says this monster will never forgive us.
Yes.
So
And
I
is
think
it
we've
because
done
of
something
this?
to him for that reason.
Is it because they dropped the bomb and they totally like sent him berserk at this level? I mean, it's clear he's look at his body, look at the flesh, look at his face. It's
Oh my God, I am so excited for this movie. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it right now.
I'm so excited that it's getting released in Japan and then in just a month coming to America. Like, that's amazing to me.
Okay.
Do you already have
This
your
might
tickets
be
for Japan?
this
John?
might be the
Is that what
one,
you're showing
guys.
us?
This
Is
this
that what
might
you're
be-
showing us, really?
Wait, what is that, John?
I knew it.
What is it?
John's buying his ticket for Japan.
already got it. My friend already got the tickets for me.
Oh, he already got it for you. Cha-ching.
Okay, now I'm jealous. Officially jealous. I hate you. I'm jealous. What a milestone. Now the movie's got to be good because it's got to be good.
It's going to be good. I booked the flight a week ago. And my friend.
Congratulations. No, seriously, that's awesome.
I'm like, I'm not going to miss this. And I'm going to try to be on, Godzilla Day for y'all. Try to, if I could get a phone, I'm at least try to do something.
We could, John, we can work it so you don't necessarily need to get a phone. You just need to hook up with somebody that has a phone.
Yeah.
And then they can film you as you talk about all the
somebody
cool
who's going to be there at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll see what can happen. I'm supposed to meet up with some folk. Maybe they can help me out.
Wow.
With that said, I'm going. There's no way we can't see this. Somebody's got to see this when it, it's like, I'm not going to spoil it, but like, I'm going to see it at least 3 times, if not 4, if I can sneak one in before I return.
Well, my ass is driving to LA to see it with anybody who wants to come because it's going to go there first, probably. So I'm going.
I wasn't going to go, but that trailer just like, no, man. I can't wait till December.
That's awesome.
This is going to be too. I'm saying it. Look, I love Shin, but this one might
top it. This one might be the one. And I think that this one may not have as many moments of boardroom red tape because it's the 50s.
This is going to be. I think it's going to be controversial. I think the U.S. presence is going to be controversial. I think, I hate to say it, y'all. I mean, I feel like, don't get me wrong when I say this. Nothing in top 54, but this thing might slide right next to it.
Real Martha versus Godzilla can top 54.
You know what? You know what, John? I think you might be right.
Not no daggone 13. No, none of that shit. Hell no, man.
Wait. Hold on a second. So he put the 54 at 13?
No, he put Martha versus Godzilla at number 13.
Oh, that's.
I actually watched it today.
I don't want to hear that crap. Cut his mic. I don't want to hear it. No. Let's move on. I got to talk about my thought about my minus one. Come on, we ain't worried about it. Come on.
Leslie, what do you think about Godzilla Minus One? And are you a fan of the suit?
He took his ass off. Oh my God.
This movie looks special. In fact, like you said, David, a period piece. This is the way Godzilla was supposed to be done for a long time.
Yes.
You gotta go back in time. Nobody's done it.
Man's playing around with forces that he has no business playing around with. This is the punishment. This is what Godzilla is all about. This is the origin of Godzilla, and this is what's missing from the MonsterVerse. This component, this whole trailer. There's more heart in that trailer 2 minutes than there was in the entire MonsterVerse series. Sorry, I said it and I mean it.
You hate to say it, but I'm going to say something. I don't want to get in trouble. But look,
this is apparently the episode to say things that would get you in trouble because Peter already dropped like F-bombs.
That's true. This is true.
Actors. Anyway, yeah, please.
But okay, this should be very interesting. I mean, I think the problem with Legendary is I think the influence of our military might be a little too great. There's things we don't do. There's things. Movies are sometimes influenced heavily by the military for a more recruitment edge. There's a lot to it in Hollywood I don't think there's things that won't cross over and do. I wish with our special effects and all we could have really turned out Godzilla if we want to, but I don't think certain things we won't cross. But that said, it'll be interesting to see Mothra done in this retro, go back. It'll be interesting to, just this could be a birth of a new prequel kind of.
Yeah, someone earlier, Matthew Bazell, was asking if this spawns a new series. Do we call it the -1 Showa or something? I can't remember.
All right, here.
Oh.
Can I interject on that right now, because I don't like that, and I'll tell you why. Because let's not worry about what's coming next and what this is going to lead into. Let's get a good movie that we love, that has heart, that has soul, that has. I don't care about what's coming in the future. Let's get this movie to where what we want, and that's the problem with Hollywood. They're worried about what's coming next, and they don't concentrate on what they're doing in front of them right now, and that's the problem.
Focus on that 10 years from now when they should be looking at what's at their feet. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Sorry,
it's far away from the microphone on that.
Okay.
But yeah,
but -1 is going to be a hit. It's going to be just as big as Shin Godzilla. It's gonna wreck the world. It's gonna be some controversy, and I don't care. Bring it on.
Bring it on.
We need to have some conversations anyway.
We're here for it.
Exactly. Let it rip, because I know it's gonna get a little sensitive, but it needs to. It's okay, because that was a period of time that was tough. That's a tough.
Actually, I think I would like to see America get a little butthurt about a Japanese Godzilla movie again. To me, so. I've heard the comments about the nationalistic Shin Godzilla. I have to say, God, what they did to diss America in Shin Godzilla. That's like people getting up in arms about nothing. That's like a prime example of it.
And we don't see our nationalism.
I mean, basically, the Japanese should be able to reflect on their history without us literally interjecting ourselves into the conversation. My God.
Of course, Kyle, of course. And do you remember the last time there was controversy that, aside from Shin Godzilla, was Godzilla versus King Ghidorah in 1991?
Yeah, right, in 91. Yeah.
And that was such a little bit of that. That wasn't even anything really to speak of, but they were, people were up in arms about that too. And of course they can be nationalistic. It's their movie. It's their thing. It's not made for us.
I'm going to share something.
Super pause just for a second. Just clarification. A little pride in your nation is not a bad thing.
No,
nationalism itself, we don't endorse nationalism.
That's right.
Exactly.
In media, but the idea that a nation can reflect. The writers in this movie can reflect on what their nation has gone through.
Of course they can.
Their nation is still going through and might not need to be still going through in terms of oversight from a foreign entity. That's a political statement. They absolutely have and we all agree, they have every freaking right to say those things. And I want to see those kinds of statements come out of Godzilla films because they are... They are important for the Japanese public. That means they should be important for us. So I'm not going to say anything else about it. I love the fact that they are putting this in the time period it is. I cannot wait to see how it works. I don't need to say a lot more about -1.
Let's hear Leslie.
We should do Leslie. Let's hear from you, and if there's any other final thoughts from the group, then we can move on to Gamera.
Yeah. First off, let me just say one thing to Alex Sawyer in the chat. He said, "Hey, Martha versus Godzilla is overrated."
Wait, what?
And first off, I've seen your collections. Two things. I've seen your collection. That's what it's called, overrated. And number two, overrated has 2 R's, not 1. So if you're gonna clown. Learn how to spell. Just saying. Learn how to spell. I don't care. I'm the one that don't give a shit. So you picked on the wrong one. With that being said,
Leslie is not the one.
Oh yeah. I don't care. But with that being said, -1. When the trailer was shown and we got to see the new Godzilla design, I will admit, even though I enjoy the design. I wish we would have gotten something brand new, quite frankly. But
We're all
I
agreement with that, yeah.
but I enjoyed it. I think when it came down to like the 5 of us or the 4 of us, I think me and John was into it, while Dave and Kyle were not really into it, and that's fine. That's all well and good.
True. That's true.
But again, I think we all had that universal sentiment that we would have wished that we could have seen something brand spanking new, maybe something that kind of like have shades of the 54 a little bit. But when I saw the trailer, I'm like, yeah, this design will actually work.
It changed it all.
What I appreciate about the trailer is that this may be a morbid thing, but again, I don't care. I love the shots of Godzilla actually murdering people. Like when he steps on people, when he takes his tail and turns it around and whips into a horde of people trying to get away, and you see bodies flying. It's like that gives me Gamera 3 vibes. Remember when Gamera 3 was attacking the gals in Tokyo or Shinjuku, whatever it was, and he's throwing fireballs like it ain't nothing, and people are flying up in the air. Now that was an accident. In this trailer, it seems like Godzilla is intentionally going after these people, and that's the thing that I kind of like was struggling with. I'm like, okay, because if this takes place directly after World War II, now in 1954, because again we don't know if this leads in 1954 or not, but in 1954 you can argue that Japan had some time to rebuild. Right?
Oh yeah, that's no argument. You definitely had time to rebuild.
Okay, so when Godzilla shows up in Tokyo, there are buildings that are up, and he's tearing through them or whatever. Supposedly, Godzilla is showing up right after the bombs fall, and basically, they don't have any type of defense, from what I understand. So you talk about going from bad to worse. Like here, you're in a city that just been decimated, and now this thing shows up, and I just love how in the suit design, Godzilla looks so angry. He looks so pissed off, and it's like if he's coming to destroy a city, but the city is already destroyed, that means he's only coming for one thing. He's coming to kill people. He is coming to destroy the people that he holds responsible for whatever happened that caused him to get pissed off. So again, that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing this Godzilla. Because that's something that's kind of glossed over in Godzilla films. When we see Godzilla go through a city, what I'm saying? Yes, it's fun to see him trash a city where he's coming to defend it or coming to destroy it. But a lot of times we take for granted that when he's going through buildings, people are actually dying.
Right.
And we take it, and we don't really think about that. Now, there are a few Godzilla stories that touch on that. Space Godzilla does that in a little bit. Gamera 3 touches on that a little bit. Mega Garrus, But the fact that, again, I think that that Godzilla going after people and murdering people, like what John said a long time ago. Sometimes we need a Godzilla film to remind us what Godzilla really truly is.
That's right.
Like in the beginning, not the happy-go-lucky Godzilla from the 70s or anything like that, not the force of nature Godzilla from the Heisei, but this tragic being that now seems really pissed off and wants to take out every single thing. I don't care if it does make people uncomfortable. You know what? That's fine. It's fine. You know what I'm saying? So I am definitely looking forward to -1. But I can't shake the feeling that somehow I think there's another monster in this. I don't know, but I can't shake that feeling that somehow there's another monster in this. Something has to defend us against that thing. So I'm thinking,
how does it end?
So let me ask you guys this. Leslie brings up a really good point. Do we really need another monster in this? My answer is no. I think there's enough drama between what has been going on, what created Godzilla in the first place, which we'll finally see, I think, and just the tragedy of this monster. We don't need to be distracted by a battle. I mean, that's cool. That's down the road, maybe later. But I don't need another monster in this movie. I need a good slice of Godzilla in the movie and military and people trying to defend themselves. I don't necessarily want or need another monster in this movie. I don't. And I think it may water it down for me. It may cheapen it. It may water it down. It may turn it into a monsterverse, because if you want to watch the monster battle, just go watch that. I want to see a story. I want to see emotion. I want to see terror. I want to see a little bit of history. I don't want two Godzillas. Come on. I don't know. Maybe, who knows? But we don't need it. It's not necessary, in my opinion. And just from what we've seen in that trailer, It's absolutely not necessary. And Leslie, you said about the death. One of the things I did like about Shin Godzilla was the fact that they depicted death so realistically, not necessarily on purpose. When that Kamada-kun was kind of snaking around that apartment building and people were just dying, and the thing wasn't trying to kill anybody. It was just this weird, unformed creature. To me, that was terrifying too, in a different way. But please, one Godzilla. We don't need another. We don't need another monster. You know, there might be, but one is enough. The original Godzilla only had one. That's all we need. We don't need another. We've seen it before. If you crave that, there's other movies for you to see that have a lot of other monsters in it. I want the heart. I want the story. I want the terror. I want the history. I don't necessarily need to see a melee of monster madness. That's just my opinion. And I know that's going to be really unpopular. And I don't give a you know what.
With you.
I mean, but that being said, that means that if Japan is defenseless and there's nothing to stop that thing, are you fine with Godzilla coming in and killing all those people and then Godzilla winning at the end? Are you fine with that?
I am. I think that it's the retribution that man deserves for toying with forces that he shouldn't be toying with. And again, like the Godzilla series is near and dear to my heart. The Showa movies especially, but Godzilla evolved. Godzilla was not an allegory of a nuclear menace. He became sort of like a defender of the earth and this and that. And you guys all know at this point that my strongest Godzilla films on my list are the ones where it's just Godzilla versus man, right? Even Mothra versus Godzilla, which I love, there's half of the movie, it's just Godzilla versus man, right? Mothra's only in it for like they fight briefly, but the majority of the film, Godzilla is against humanity in that movie, right? And again, that's just my opinion, and I'll stick to it. I've said it for a long time, but I think that they may throw it in there, but it's not necessary, and I'm not looking for it. Personally.
Hey, but one last thing before we move on from this, and it's something I asked about with Kyle in our private chat. Because apparently the director of this film, what's his name? Yamazaki, right?
Yamazaki.
Yeah. He's going to hold 4 special screenings between September and October of 4 Godzilla films that he has specifically picked leading up to -1.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, that's true.
And I guess so real quick, go around the room. What 4 films are you going to watch to get your mind right, going into -1? I go first real fast. The ones I picked, I'm definitely going to really dig into and watch. Of course, the original 54, 1985, GMK, and Shin Godzilla. Those are my 4 that I'm picking.
I could take your playlist.
You know what, Leslie? I agree 100%. Those are the ones I'd watch too, because they're all aspects of those movies are what I'm hoping to see in this one. And the things that I like about those movies, I'm hoping to get in this one. So I wouldn't change a thing. I agree 100%. 100. Look at that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah, you too. Kyle?
How about you, Kyle?
Wow. I feel like I just need to toe the company line here and say yes. I mean, basically, you the solid entries there, you know. I actually am very interested in this story, by the way. Yamazaki and his little like personal film festival. I think that's super cool. I don't know if any other directors have actually done that before.
No, I've never heard.
I kind of feel like this shows off how much love he has for the actual, for the material. Just because I have control again.
The novel's coming out soon.
Oh yeah. Also the fact that this movie kind of has been done for a little while, and now what we're seeing everything finally coming to light. Like I absolutely love that we're going to be getting this movie in no time at all. Like what, we're at the end of September here. So
I know,
in
like
a month and 2 months, everybody watching this will have seen Godzilla -1 probably.
Yeah.
So cool.
I better not be disappointed.
I think it's going to be epic. It just doesn't look like it can fail to me. It just. I hope there's a little Odo Island or something. attached, maybe. Something's going to happen, obviously, at sea. Quite a bit is going to happen at sea. So there's going to be some, obviously, survivors. So there's going to be stories. But it'll be interesting to see how much backstory we get.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see. Because I actually agree with David. Like, I don't think we need to see another monster here. If they have another monster, I hope it plays a very, very small role.
Yes.
Maybe destroyed very quickly by the big Godzilla. I don't know. But really, these days, I don't care about the future. I care about, like, the singular entry. And, like...
Yes. Thank you.
Like,
Thank you. Thank you.
So, first up, like, we already know that... I think anybody who really understood how Toho works... They knew that Shin Godzilla was going to be a one and done, not a series. And with the way that the Millennium series tried to go, but then didn't really, but sort of did, but then didn't again. It's like where they were supposed to get one director for each movie to try and do their own thing. Like, let's do that now, right? Like, let's have Godzilla Minus One come out, right? The end. Then look at those numbers.
Right.
Does it warrant another Godzilla movie to come out? Then full stop, figure out who, and don't make it a rush to get one in the next year's theater. You know, what is it? It's the it's like a sci-fi film festival or something, some big expo at the end of the year that Toho always tries to put a movie in. And so for me, my whole thing is about making these so that we all want to revisit them year after year and not turning right back into the tired thread of gotta do a new movie every year.
Amen.
So also I would say that Yamazaki, you know, I want this movie to be great. I think it's got great potential. Spoiler alert, Yamazaki's he's a director with a lot of movies under his belt, so you can go out and watch a lot of his films and really kind of make a decision on how you like his directing style. And I think that that's great because that means you can sort of walk into this movie knowing him as a director and his sort of visual language that he likes to use, especially when you look at Always Sunset on 3rd Street. And so for me, I'm very excited for how this is going to play out, just in terms of like the world really being able to see it all at the same time. Like I already said, I think we have the ability to push forward with Toho making things. Sure, if Legendary wants to do their stuff too, whatever, right? Then if they're both producing things at a pace that makes sense to the stories, that makes sense to the creators, that makes sense to the people that are going to consume it as well, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that kind of, you know, determination from Toho to make quality product that doesn't have to be, right? Like they want to make a Godzilla movie because they want to make a Godzilla movie, not because we think we're going to be able to sell 500,000 seats in 1 year, and that's part of our bottom line that we're going to write into the budget of Godzilla. Drives me crazy. Yeah. So really, if I were Toho, I would be like turning to Legendary and being like, yo, I think you should give us like specifically probably about $50 million so we could make a movie.
Yep.
Right? Like they give you $50 million, you put $50 million in to make $100 million killer movie from Japan. I wouldn't turn that down. But anyway, that's a little pipe dreamy.
No, that's
do we know the budget for Minus One?
I don't know the budget for.
It looks like it's pretty high. And while we're talking about that, I just wanted to say something before I forget. Wouldn't it be great if this is indeed Godzilla versus man, and then the next movie, if this does well, and I'm sure it will, let's do Rodan.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's do Mothra. Let's do Varan. Let's do another Varan. Let's do origin story movies instead of monster melees, because we've seen it. They're fun, they're great, but how would you like to see a modern take on Rodan?
It would be.
I would love that.
I mean, or Varan, or War of the Gargantuas, Leslie, or the Gargantua, Frankenstein. I mean, something that would be brings us back to the beginnings and the origins of these monsters that we love so much. That's what I'm craving, and that's what I'm hoping that it's okay. So in 2 years we'll see Rodan the flying monster. Of course King Ghidorah. Like I mean, but it doesn't have to be the order of that. It can be just an origin story, and I think that would be for me. I would be happy as a pig in shit. Sorry, I said it. There you go.
So basically, be Showa 2.0. It'd be Showa 2.0.
Yeah. Sure.
Yes and no, but again, I don't consider this the way they're approaching this. It's not. They're using modern sensibilities and modern filmmaking. It's not straight up Showa. I mean, it's Showa-esque and it's an original. It's like an origin story, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the exact repeat of the Showa movies. Like we can keep some of the characteristics of the films and some of the origins, but they can stray from it too a little bit. Yeah, there doesn't have to be 2 Rodans. It doesn't have to be a rehash, is what I'm trying to say. And this does not look like a rehash of 1954 at all.
Yeah, I think you can literally start writing brand new stuff. Brand new stuff. You don't have to touch on any of the continuity in quotation marks that we had in the Showa era. Like, make it all new. And I mean, like, when I say make it all new, I of course mean like make the stories new, make us fall in love with the monsters, or be terrified of the monsters, whatever that does, right? Because to me, that's where we should be going. Hey,
I agree. Amen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to lead into 54 either. I think it should be its own thing. I'll be fine with that.
Yeah.
Good. Me too.
Roxy. Oh, Roxy's here to say hi.
Hi, Roxy.
There you go. Oh, she's doesn't even want the treat. She's just too nervous on camera.
She wants to be on screen.
She does not want to be on screen. She was tricked. There you go. Oh yeah, look how pretty she is.
Oh, look at the little puppy.
All right. Oh, and there go all the cookie pieces all over my arm. So.
Oh, David, look.
What?
Hey, David, look, in the chat, Robert D says Showa can't be duplicated. It was a product of the time they were made and the people who made them. Well, since he said it, I guess it can't be duplicated then.
I would actually not totally disagree with what he's saying, because I don't think that I don't think anybody's going to be able to get the magic of the Showa era.
No, and that's not what I'm saying either. I'm not saying that I want a duplicate of the Showa. I'm saying I want a standalone movie of Rodan. It could be a new story. It could be a new thing. I don't need to see a monster melee every time I go to the movies. I don't need to see, and I do want to see Rodan. I like Rodan. I don't need a new monster. I don't need a new pterodactyl. I don't need a new monster. Right. I want to see Rodan. Yeah, I'd love to see a new Mysterians too. But I don't want, like I said, of course, you know me, Robert. I think that the golden era of Japanese tokusatsu can never be duplicated, ever. That magic will never be duplicated again. But they can do something on the same lines and not just do it to have, I don't know. It's definitely standalone monsters are the way to go for me. I don't need it, because we've seen it. You can see it. It's coming. It's coming on Kong versus Godzilla 2, whatever they're calling it. All that stuff. So you're going to see all that stuff and then some, if that's what you're craving. I'm not craving that. I'm craving this, and I'm craving exactly what I hope is going to come in the future.
And
yes,
I think the nostalgia piece of all of this is important.
Oh, huge.
Seeing -1 in the trailer and the setting makes me think about the world that made 54. The people who made it gives me a window into their world and how it shaped this idea of Godzilla, and the circumstances around it, the complicated nature of the history that's playing out in front of us. That's the part I'm more intrigued about. I finally finished and read through this book. Was a fantastic read on the cultural history of Godzilla. Fascinating. The background, the guy, he goes all the way back to the 1800s and weaves in all the things I never knew were connected to Godzilla in any way. And it was just, and that's the stuff, this movie, I mean, it's like, oh, look at this. Making me think about Ginza and the Waco building. And why is it still standing? Oh, it survived the bombing, from the Tokyo, bombing.
Air raids,
All of those things are in their minds that we can appreciate more, that tell us more about Godzilla in the context. And that's the aspect. It's nostalgia is hard to put on as people are dying, but it's something about reliving World War II or going back, and it's like, and going back to the show era. You can't remake it, but you can. Boy, that Always Sunny, that 2-minute clip of Godzilla, man, it was like, man, I want to go into that world a little bit.
You're going there to see the movies. You're going in to see the movies.
You also can go to Saitama and go to the Showa era themed Seibu in amusement park.
I made my list. I'm just checking it twice. I'm going to hit up a lot of places.
You can go to the Edo Museum, John, too, and see all kinds of Kyle, Keith, and I went there, and we spent the entire afternoon in that place.
I gotta go. It's the cultural thing that Godzilla movies do that draw you into the Japanese culture and history. That it goes back and forth. It brings you into the culture and all, and the fascination with it, but also tells you something about Godzilla in ways we miss if it's just a monster bat.
Absolutely, and the fact that it's very Japanese is why I'm here today, because it's all full circle for me. I learned about the culture through these movies when I was a little kid, watching on the black and white TV, and I was always fascinated by it. I always wondered why it was so different than how I'm living my life, yet it seemed sort of strangely familiar to me. And that's how I felt when I got off the plane in Japan too. And it's full circle for me. So if I can get all of that in one thing, history, dinosaurs, Japan, culture, tragedy, all of that in one movie, which I think it's leaning towards from what we've seen in the trailer, I'm going to be so amazingly stoked. And that's what's been missing from pretty much all of them. I mean, the modern ones anyway. And like very few even attempts to do. GMK tried a little bit because they went back to the folklore. And I really appreciated that. And Shin did something completely, on its own too. So the courageous ones are the ones that stand out to me. The other ones are great. They're fun. They're interesting. But the ones that are going to make an impact and are going to be lasting and go down in history on people's movie lists are going to be these ones that are so poignant. And again, I'm putting all these eggs in this basket, and maybe none of this is going to come to pass. But I'm hoping, please make most of this come true, because it would suck if we're like, oh no, we got another MonsterVerse movie. Oh no, I doubt it. I doubt it.
Just the dialogue. I mean, the intensity is there, and just like the original film, there was not a moment of that let down the suffering, or it is no moment in 54 where you okay, I can kind of reflect on what's going on. It just suffering, screaming. Think about the trailer. It opens with screams and ends with a roar. I mean, this thing can be very.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There's not one moment of levity in the 54 film either. Nothing.
That's right.
Zero.
And that's what I want. And it seems like in a way, 2016 was very cathartic. They went, dealt with 311. This is kind of like, let's go back and also let's deal with the Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and all of that stuff.
Maybe the fact that personally I have been to Hiroshima, I've been to the museum, I've seen the exhibits, I've seen how serious it is, I've seen the ruins, I've seen the hospital. I don't know, that maybe that's just another notch that's saying that this is what I'm really craving to see in a movie, and to because that part of Godzilla has been so absent in almost every film that we've seen recently. Like the last time maybe Mothra versus Godzilla. Infant Island was still radioactive, but other than that, the radiation and the horrors of atomic bombs were completely erased from the series.
And if that explosion that appears to be an atomic explosion in Ginza is what it is, I even wonder how that will make the Japanese feel given Fukushima. and some implications of radiation and things.
You're right.
It's bound to stir up some really anti-nuclear proliferation, feelings again. It could be very interesting what comes out of this, and I hope it makes us all, think and reflect. Especially right now, when you think about what the war going on against Ukrainians and all. I mean, we're living in a we're just kind of asleep, but we're living in the threat of nuclear.
It makes you think, John. It's going to make people think, and it's going to make people go back and look up. Hey, I don't really know what went on in this time period, and they're going to go back and explore and see for themselves how these movies were inspired and what the filmmakers were trying to do back in the 50s, and if that happens, and it creates conversation. It's more than just going to the movies to have mindless fun, which is nothing wrong with that.
Right.
This is going to make you think, and this is going to make you curious, and it's going to make you sad. It's going to make you angry. I don't think it's going to be a really happy ending. I can't see this being a good, like, the outcome is
minus one.
Goodbye, Godzilla.
Yeah, no.
Godzilla, come back here. Think about the movies that the atomic bomb context created in America versus Japan. We end up with the 50-foot woman and ants or whatever. Them. I mean, now, if we were exposed to that, what would it have created?
We wouldn't be having no 50-foot woman, right?
Got that right. So go into the movie with, be Japanese.
Actually, if you don't mind, John, I would actually love to just bounce off something David was talking about. A lot of people that probably watch this show don't really have a solid understanding of what Japan was like between World War II and 1954, let's just say, because that's where we started watching these Japanese movies, probably, for the most part. There's a lot of them out there, though, and so I'd like to suggest a couple. Stray Dog, Akira Kurosawa films, to be perfectly honest. Stray Dog is one of them. Specifically deals with post-war era Japan, where a policeman gets his gun stolen in like a black market. Okay, so that's a great film. However, Drunken Angel, wow! If you haven't seen Drunken Angel, and you want to see the devastation and what the general populace were living like, Drunken Angel's the one to see. It came out in like 1943.
I want to see that.
Definitely does not depict
wow.
Nice rich family home where the doctor paleontologist comes home to his daughter who's in a love triangle with two people. It's a very different vibe than any Godzilla movie.
Absolutely.
But if you want to see the kind of like why it's called -1 instead of like why they're setting it after 54, what they're talking about with how low Japan was, there you go.
That's Kyle. That's a great suggestion. We can also suggest a movie, Grave of the Fireflies too. That's another one. It's during it. It's not after. It's during the whole thing, and you can see just the devastation without a giant monster in it. Okay. So imagine that kind of thing going on, and then after that, you get hit with another, horrific thing, attacking your country. So it's great suggestion for people to prepare themselves for this movie or to explore after they see this movie. And
totally
excellent idea.
I think it's a great idea.
Can I make one comment? This book came out in 2014, but I actually finished the translating the last page today. We'll go through it. And he said something fascinating, and it comes through in the whole book. He says he deals with the American Godzilla a little bit, but he says, my bad translation here. He says, however, we must think about our Godzilla attacking Japan. And it was after he was talking about the Hollywood Godzilla a little bit. And he said, our Godzilla attacking Japan. We need to think about that. And that's
say that again. I didn't hear the beginning part. What now?
So he just said, however, this is our new paragraph. We must think about our Godzilla attacking Japan.
Our Godzilla meaning
the Japanese Godzilla.
Okay.
and what that means to us. And he says, for this purpose,
I see. Okay, okay.
Once he's like, Hollywood did their thing. This is 2014, and he's reflecting. This is at the end of the book. This is his final. But he says, for this purpose, I focused on the year 1854, 100 years before Godzilla's birth, which was the year of the Japanese-U.S. Treaty of Peace and Amity and signed. And he goes on and on. It's like, appreciate what Godzilla means, their Godzilla means in their context. That's what's important.
It's totally important, and that makes
films.
And that makes the heart and soul of the film too. I mean, that's and we've said this until we're blue in the face. That's what's missing from a lot of these modern films. There's no. It's an alpha predator is just like a dinosaur. There's no. It's insignificant in the scheme of things. It's just a fun monster melee. It's not Godzilla to me. Godzilla is nuclear horror. That's what he is.
And that anyone going to Tokyo, go see the Lucky Dragon #5.
Oh, you mean you can still see the ship? It's there?
Yeah, it's intact.
I've never. Oh man,
the whole museum. Oh, it's moving, and it's very. Where the kids go. Oh, it's contained. You can go see it. You can touch it. Oh yeah. Oh please. Wow. It's about not too far outside of. It's in Tokyo. It's a short train ride kind of.
Wow.
Yes.
Alex Sawyer is also suggesting a movie called Hiroshima.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna piggyback on that and say, if you want something that's a kind of disturbing in a sense, watch the anime based off the manga Barefoot Gen. Woo.
Oh, really?
An anime dealing with how would I say this? A surviving child of Hiroshima and what he saw, like when it went off. Afterwards, it's horrifying. Anyway,
wow.
I think I'm going to take this opportunity and say we should probably move on, because we did want to talk about Gamera Rebirth, which also happened while we were sort of in between episodes. You know what? We don't need to talk a lot about it, but Leslie wanted to bring it up, and I wanted to bring it up too, of course, because I am
buddy,
Shrine of Gamera curator.
Sadly, guys, I've not seen it yet, so I don't have much to contribute.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I like it.
But I'll listen.
Yeah.
It's a win. It's a win.
Is it a win? This is the first I've heard it. This is the first I'm talking about it. So good. Let's go for it.
That's the thing. This coming from me. I don't particularly care for anime. Like, I tried watching Godzilla Singular Point, and I got through 2 episodes, and I felt dumber, and I couldn't finish that series. Gamera, on the other hand, and that's the thing with being in my profession. It's kind of hard in my profession because I don't have very much time in my hands, free time. It's kind of hard for me to binge watch or watch anything like on Netflix or something like an anime. But yesterday I was off from work. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this time knowing that the show was happening and we want to talk about it. Like, you know what? I'm going to watch it. And it's 6 episodes, 44 minutes apiece. And I thought that maybe after the first 20 minutes of the first episode, it was going to lose me. Let me just tell you, as a huge Gamera fan and somebody who loves and is pulling for Gamera, this is absolutely a win. Now, I know I kind of gave the design of Jiger crap, but when you see that thing in action, as a matter of fact, every single monster in this anime, including Gamera, they look absolutely phenomenal. And it's like, you kind of wish they would have done that back in the day with the older versions of the Gamera villains. Now, I know they couldn't do it because of the time, stuff like that. But with anime, you can do pretty much anything. But let me just tell you, it's a really cool anime. The only common criticism that I've seen that I will agree with is that the human characters are kind of like bland. They're not really much to them in a way. But they're not bad. They're not annoying Showa Gamera kids, you know. Well, but then again, when you get them,
they're more like Gamera the Brave Kids, actually.
Where they're not shouting at Gamera every 5 seconds. They're not that annoying. But aside from that, they're tolerable.
Fairly self-reliant.
Yeah, they're tolerable until you get to the monster action, and the monster action is absolutely great. Oh my God, I'm not gonna give you the spoilers here, but the way he kills Jiger, Kyle, you know what I'm talking about? The way he kills Jiger. Giron, oh my God, Giron. What?
Oh, I got things to say about Giron.
Oh, Giron is, oh my God, this thing, he'll pop up out the ground. He's doing backflips. He's whipping his knife head around. Oh God. And you know what? It kind of ends on like a twist, but you know what? It ends on a satisfying twist. But point blank, long story short, again, if you're on the fence about the Gamera anime, get off that fence. If you're a huge fan of Gamera, it honors the lore, it honors the Showa films, the Heisei films, Gamera the Brave, and the episodes are really, really cool. But the monster action and the monster designs, they are absolutely phenomenal. And again, it kind of carries that trend from the Showa period where it kind of got kind of gory with the monster fights.
Yeah,
this anime takes it to another level. So be mindful of that. But as a Gamera fan, Gamera is winning with this, and I hope we get more from him. But this is a win in my opinion.
Awesome.
I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it.
Guys, is my favorite monster in there? Is Barugon in there?
That's the one thing I will say that I was a little bit disappointed with. They brought back pretty much every single Showa villain except for him. Except for him, they brought back Gauss, they brought back Zigra, they brought back Giron,
they were probably
Jiger.
like, Barugon doesn't need to be reinvented. He was perfect at it as is. That's why they had to do all the other monsters.
Fair enough. Good answer.
That's garbage. They could have made a 7 episode and brought him back. I'm saying I just would love
saving him for season 2. I hear
that's just my favorite monster in the Showa Gamera series. So that's why I'm a little bummed.
But again, to think about the monster that he fights in the Showa series, they bring him back, but they readapt them to modern times, and it's like even Zigra, just watch it. Trust me, you will love it. You will absolutely love it.
I'm enjoying it.
So I agree with Leslie. I think honestly, it's the thing about the Gamera series. This is the common criticism that I've shared since I saw the trailer. Is that I don't understand why we're getting garbage CGI as anime.
Yeah,
like the thing that I liked about Singular Point was that it had a lot more of that hand-drawn look to it.
Yeah.
It was way less of what we saw in the anime trilogy, which I'm not a fan of. And so when the first teaser came out for this, I was like, okay, looks like we're getting the same thing. Like human characters are CGI models that move even less fluidly than the marionation Thunderbirds did,
Oh God! Oh no! Oh no!
It's bad. They do this.
Yeah.
Yikes!
But it's because of cutting costs. It's just the human characters. It's not the worst if you kind of get used to it. There's a weird stuttery animation as well, which became very popular with Into the Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm.
And,
right.
I think that Into the Spider-Verse, it works like chef's kiss great. Yeah. It looks like they're taking that. These are the negative things. I'm going through the negative first.
Okay.
It looks like they're taking that stutter and they're using it as an excuse to render less frames. And they're saying like, oh, this is the style we're going for, right? I don't love that. I also don't totally love the initial redesigns of the monsters. When I first saw the Bandai figures,
you were like,
I was like, I don't know about this. These look a little weird.
They were horrible.
I'm going to flip over into the positives because, wow, these monsters have been redesigned with purpose. These monsters have been taken from their original existence in the 60s and the 70s, and they have smartly said, what can we do to make this monster have vibes from the original, but be way cooler and not in a stupid way, right? Like, so Giron, I was trying to explain it to Lady Kyle. Giron in the old movie is just a dude in a suit on all fours, like crawling around on his knees. Giron in this series is almost like a weasel, where he's got like his front half and his back half are almost disconnected, and he like jumps up, rears back, almost like bending himself in half backwards, and slams forward, slicing anything in half. Super, like it's so cool.
All right, I want to see
I
just
highly
that.
suggest. It's only 6 episodes. That's what I say. It's not a
Okay.
fantastic series in terms of writing, but you know what it is? It is very evocative of the teamwork, as I said earlier, the teamwork that you saw in the kids in Gamera the Brave. It kind of is like, well, the Gamera is about kids, but we're not going to make them horrible. So they made the kids a little
Good.
more like
That's good to know.
Stand By Me group of kids who
Yeah,
are like all
exactly.
together,
I like it.
you know, and it's
I like
not bad. It's not badly written. It's just some of it's mediocrely written. And to be perfectly honest, the conspiracy theory starting from the beginning and weaving itself all the way through till you get to those last couple of episodes, I saw it happening and I was like, this is good. Somebody wrote this for Gamera. Like, get out of here. This is worth watching at least. It's not amazing cinema telling. It's not amazing cinema and not amazing storytelling, but it is definitely worth your time if you're a Gamera fan or just a kaiju fan interested in seeing some cool stuff. Just be aware there's going to be some weird animation. If you can't get over the animation, you really won't like the series. But if you can gel with the animation style, I think you'll like what you see.
You've already piqued
There's
my
TED
interest
Talk.
from what you said. No, and do you think it's conceivable that if this does well, that they'll do a season 2 with like Legion and Edis, maybe?
I think that if it does, I don't know how. First up, as I said to somebody a couple of weeks ago, how the heck do we even know what the metric is on how a Netflix series does well, right? Like, that's just a curiosity I have. But in answer to your question, they leave it open. So yes, there is possibility for a second series. And I wasn't upset at that either, right? Like, I could even go get behind them doing the exact same thing, exact same style animation, but it would be really cool if a season 2 was even better, improved on what we saw in season 1. So
but the problem with that is like Gamera doesn't have many villains like Godzilla does. Like, it would probably work for Godzilla because he has more villains, or you could probably introduce brand new monsters. But I think the key for a character like Gamera, who is in a lot of people's minds second to Godzilla, they want to have monsters that they kind of know. So they be taking the gamble doing a brand new series. But even though, like what Kyle said, it does end on an open-ended thing, kind of like Singular Point. But if it ends right there, like, those episodes are rewatchable, especially the fight scenes. Like, again, the Giron fight. My God, when I saw him just burst up out of the ground, he's doing backflips, and while he's flipping, his knife head is like just, and he comes down with full force on. Gamera gets effed up in this.
I love how you know how in the old movie, like, he had these shuriken in the side of his knife.
Oh yeah,
they just kind of go blip, blip. Now it's like this electric charge that comes from his back all the way to the front, and then goes shikang all the way down his knife head.
Okay,
it's really freaking cool. And then when one of them hits where the kids are, you go, oh. Those aren't just energy; those are physical pieces of bone. They're screwed.
Right. Yeah, and David,
it's pretty good.
And David, guess what? They made Viras terrifying.
Oh, really?
Viras, Viras. They made Viras, like, when I saw that episode, I'm like, because I'm thinking of the old Viras, you know, the crappy looking squid that can talk and all that other crap. This Viras, I actually was kind of creeped out about, like, ooh, wait a minute. Ooh.
Oh man, I'm watching it tonight. I'm watching tonight after we get off here.
Where I left off.
So Mike Farah says that there are 5 remaining villains. So if that's true,
Do another.
I'm not. Well, I was going to say Iris,
Zetas,
Barugon, Zetas, and then why not Garasharp? Right? I'd say Garasharp gets his due.
Who?
Oh, you guys don't know who Garasharp is? The unmade
Gamera film. Yep.
Yeah, the unmade Gamera film. After,
oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
He's like sort of like a cobra with like blades on the side of his head. I want to see Garasharp. That would be awesome.
Please, no, we don't get the Gamera song, please, do we?
Well, I told Jonathan that you would sing it specifically, David. So
no, I will not.
Just kidding.
And of course, Kaji Battle said that because he hates being wrong. So hey, that's the only reason why he said that. He hates being wrong. So you're not wrong, Michael Battle, Kaji Battle, whatever it is, whatever. We don't care. The point is that Gamera Rebirth is awesome.
I'm stoked.
Period.
I'm
End of story.
Totally worth watching.
If I
Absolutely
don't fall
worth
asleep, I'll watch
watching.
tonight. It's late now. See, we're late on the
And
Easter.
it's
Yeah,
episodic,
just-
so you
yeah,
can. I
yeah.
actually watched one episode, and then I like waited a day and watched another episode. It took me like a long, 6 days to watch the series, just because I
Excellent.
took
I
my
can rush it.
time.
I'm excited.
And
I had no idea it was going to be this good.
There are, like Leslie said, there are definitely hints at Showa era, Heisei era, and beyond for Gamera. I think there's even things that you might be like, oh, that I think there was something like that in the comic series from Dark Horse. So I think it's gonna be a slow burner. There are some people that are actually like dogging on it, and that's okay. That's totally okay because
that's fine.
they don't want what it's offering. But what I have to say, what Leslie has to say, is that we're jiving with what they're offering, and like I think anybody who likes Gamera definitely needs to check it out.
Absolutely. And again, I'm not really an anime fan, but this got me to watch the entirety of the series. I was like, I couldn't stop. I was like, this is like, again, the fight scenes and the redesigns of not only Gamera but Gauss and Zigra is like, and this is from somebody that actually appreciates the Showa Gamera films. Yes, even the one with the kids. But I've always pulled for those films. Yes, they're kind of like Godzilla films light in a lot of respects from the Showa period. But I've always said that the Gamera Showa villains, what I appreciate about them the most is that they are not carbon copies of Godzilla villains. You got Zigra, an alien shark. You got Gauss, a giant vampire bat. You got Jiger with whatever the heck it is. So, but you can look at those villains and say they're not like Gigan. They're not like Mecha Godzilla. They're not like King Ghidorah. But they just brought those villains back that had so many limitations put upon them in the 60s and 70s and put them in this anime, and now you can see what they can truly do, and it's absolutely
they're
great.
Smartly written too. That's what I love about it. Nothing that none of these new features that these kaiju have make you go, that's dumb. Like everything that Giron did, I was like, oh yes, this is why I love this monster, right? Like,
yes.
Yeah, so I hope that people, I hope that people agree with us, Leslie, and that they also
I hope so too.
Enjoy that Gamera Morocco
Let's
party.
revisit this after I see it. I doubt Christine's watching it, but whatever. What do you think?
She needs to get King Kong Escapes under her.
Oh. But
we
I will
judge
definitely
here.
like to continue like a small discussion after I see him, so I can talk about it.
Absolutely,
Because,
my friend.
and
Absolutely.
John's got to finish too, right?
Yeah, I'm just about finished the first episode.
Okay. So
Obviously-
you got to dive in too.
Oh, you in the first one.
First monster is a
Yeah.
Gauss. First
Oh.
monster is Gauss.
Yeah, the second one is Jiger. Again, you're gonna love how he kills Jiger. That's all I got to say.
Okay. I'm enjoying just the kids. I'm enjoying the context, how they build up. I mean, I love that
It's
stuff.
kind of surprising at how endearing those kids can be. Obviously, anytime you throw, let's see, as a mature adult watching these things, anytime you throw a child actor character potentially into a story, and then multiple kids, you really have some chances for tanking. But I think really this is great. Jonathan actually mentioning SSS Gridman, another.
Yeah.
Actually, this is Gridman as light years beyond any of the other anime we're talking about. It's like actual fantastic hand done animation. Yeah, this is not in the same playing field as the Gamera series, the Godzilla trilogy, not in the same playing field as SSS Gridman, in my opinion. And I think I left out an S, but you guys, we've been doing this for 2.5 hours now. I don't even know if I need to really talk about the other things that I was going to talk about. David, did you want to cover anything else?
No, I'm good too. We're good. I had a blast talking with all. I mean, we got really into that -1 conversation. I'm glad we did, because I feel good about that. And again, I'm sure people are going to disagree with me, but I'm just, nothing is going to change my opinion. I'm stoked, and the little things that are annoying to me, I'm just going to let them go by the wayside, and just go with the flow, man. Go with the ride, and I hope when we have the inevitable show of our reactions to the movie, I can't wait for that. That's going to be so much fun.
Ooh, yeah.
But no, Kyle, I'm good. I'm good.
We
good.
might need a whole
Cool.
episode just for that, or a side. Just
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
will. Actually, so the plan is to do a Kaiju Cast Daikaiju discussion, and then Collect All Monsters is going to be part of that. So
awesome.
all right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do what we normally do when we close out a show, which is to say, until next time, our planet may be doomed, our Earth devastated, the monsters are in revolt, and civilization is in chaos. We must unite and collect all monsters. We'll see you for the next show, guys.